But also the Bruno tends to be what we've talked about a lot, being that counter pick into the Claude. We saw that work wonders in the regular season for the teams that decided to go for it. So they have a ton of damage for ONIC, and oh, there's the answer, Edward. He's gonna pull out the Benedetta.
Woo! Prior, it was vintage Vinuya. But now we're going old school Mr. Consistent.
Yes, sir, we are. Superfans scan the QR code and predict the match winner correctly for a chance to win 1,000 MLBB Diamonds. This one is a heated way to start this best of 5.
If you want to go a little bit more PH theme with that, you have vintage Vinuya. This is dating dapadap. Old dapadap, bro.
Dating dapadap.
Yes, sir.
Hey, that works. Let's take a look here one more time at the lineups. Again, we got our draft index here, but this is, what a way to start this.
You know what, just to throw out to our global community, I spent the past weekend casting MSL Thailand.
Yep.
Aurora's draft looks very much like a KOG draft.
A KOG draft.
MSL newly crowned champions.
Yes, sir. Hey, we've seen similar things even in MCT East Asia, man. So I've liked that we get to see all this on the global level, but now let's focus in on this as we jump into Land of Dawn and our battle, the international rivalry, the last one we'll see of Season 17.
Day 1 already feels like a grand finals. Of course, Super Friends would want to pull yourself together as the Gord needs faster access to that flicker. Aggressive trades in the mid as expected. The Khalid and Valentina together. Mid prio gonna determine a lot of the early wins. River control, very important for these two. Now with Glue going to ONIC, they have a slightly slower lineup. That's what Aurora's invading.
Oh! Forcing a flicker out of Brusco. And ONIC Philippines are on the receiving end of an orange gambit themselves.
That projectile saved a life right there. That little stun kept them alive, but good thing. But they're showing aggression here in the early game already.
Who is this team? What a jump by Light and Demon Kite. They draw first blood.
He just paid for it.
A lot of growth by Aurora here. They know their Benedetta is faster than this Glue. Again, that's why they invaded Orange. They continue to invade.
Brusco running through 3, stopping the invasion, but Demon Kite wants it. He's hungry. Do you want it? Do you want it? And he gets it.
Oh.
And they jump him. King Kong punishes the celebrity. And Light eats up 1. Oh, fair enough. King Kong actually secured without a retribution.
Yeah, he secured his own purple buff. He went in there with the space escape. Demon Kite falls. So ONIC get to defend the aggression of Aurora early. They lost their orange, but in the long run, ONIC actually won that long sequence.
Yeah, they, you know, it's Aurora doing things differently.
It's not how you start, it's how you end.
Yes.
And that early sequence, as Rema said, goes to the super fam. First turtle though, who's gonna take it?
First turtle being up here. Both teams have some crucial level 4s. That was Yu had taken the Mystic Gush, so he's got that for this fight. They're going to go ahead and start this turtle up, but Brusco will hold it here.
ONIC can't rush it right now. Brusco doesn't have Golden Hour. Light not yet level 4 just yet. Kirk does have his mount if he wants it.
Get half health on the turtle. They're going to go for this.
Holding it. They take Light down. Getting the mount and everything thrown at him. King Kong looking for that angle, but DK will secure. Turtle 1 goes to the Northern Lights.
Worthy sacrifice by Light. I'm sure he just wanted to get vision, but with him going down and ONIC committing a lot of their abilities. Wait!
Dominic Kite up top! He's feeling himself, forcing Savero back.
Multiple times in the season, Savero has had Dominic Kite's number in the gold lane with their little duels, but with the very first big trade, it's Dominic Kite who goes out on top.
But for longtime fans of Dominic Del Mundo, aka Dominic Kite, they know that the strength of this jungler is, rather this gold laner, is in the laning phase.
Yeah.
So if there's any time Dominic Kite will win against Savero, it's in the first 5 minutes.
It's going to be a great series just already with these first 3 minutes of game 1. They have some time to go ahead and settle in, and now with a heck of a start for Aurora being on the more aggressive side, you know, that could be enough to go ahead and start to set things in their favor. But one thing they do have to go ahead and take note of is, again, King Kong, despite all the pressure, it's pretty much fine. You know, and that's going to be the case with a Harley like this. So I'm wondering, where do they find these little openings? Where do they find these little windows of opportunity for them? Also, because you have Brusco on the Marcel, so when you think you want to start with tempo, Marcel can be enough to kind of stop that from happening.
Yeah, so Aurora have information that Savero is close to a minute away from getting his flicker back. He's at 50 and counting, less than. And so that's why Aurora would commit a rotation from Light to go Gold Crab. so that Dominkite would be able to take it. Because they know that Severo cannot play risky and try to take it away. There's a cut by Demonkite behind Severo.
Oh, does Severo know the pressure? Ill intent from the Northern Lights. For now, Dominkite with a blazing duet. And here comes the save. Golden Hour. Stolen. Gosh, where does it go? And it seems like they flubbed it. The jump, the flicker, the dive. Severo lives.
Oh my God, Light! He's gonna be the one to get punished. What a counter play from ONIC.
They went too deep. They went too deep.
Brusco with the save. Aurora trying to take a page from ONIC's book with all this aggression, but it takes just a nice little platinum snap to snap Aurora out of their comfort.
Oh man, that's exactly what I was saying. You know, you want to set the tempo. Well, there's a Marcel across from you, and you saw how much value a perfectly timed golden hour can give to your team. And look at this, though. There is going to be a bit of a trade. Edward will grab some extra gold off that bottom side.
They want to do it again. Dominkite, BMI through. Brusco again to the rescue, forcing a defensive rampaging sandstorm. Oh my lord, the long con by ONIC. When everyone thought they were experimenting with an import, here they were using him as bait. Oh! Gosh, on the light, he might fall once more. Bulls in his face, Severo can't finish the job.
Aurora will be able to get away, but ONIC, this is why they like the glue. It loses in the big overall rotations compared to the Benedetta, but when it comes to the fighting, it's kind of awkward for the Gwyn, kind of awkward for the Claude, even for the Benedetta, because of all that tempo breaking. And that's just the Marcel we've seen most of it. We haven't seen Kirk for a lot of these big sequences. When it gets to that, Aurora might have some difficulty.
Yeah, they're already having a little bit of difficulty in trying to deal with focusing on Severo, because Brusco's just been so well protecting him and staying on that side of the map if he has to, and that's one of the benefits of being able to travel fast as well.
Again, that's just the Marcel.
Another one! Demonkite barely gets away by the skin of his teeth.
Okay, he stays alive. Surprised at how many beams we're seeing not convert into kills, but they are knocking down turrets. That's what they're going for.
Hey, technical knockouts are still knockouts.
Yeah, that's
it
true.
leads to Demonkite not being present. And the only real place that Aurora can breathe is where Edward is.
Yeah. He has to open up the map here. That allows a few more avenues for Aurora. But until Aurora gets the tower in mid, all the side lane pushes might not be that beneficial to them. ONIC handle the long lanes and far lanes very well. They have had fantastic macro this season, and they're willing to give it up if they know they get a big objective. If they know they get Turtle 3, if they know they get Lord 1.
Yeah, this Turtle's going to be up. Last one of the game here, pulled through. Edward's going to join this one. It looks like after he clears mid. He's got a Blade of Hepsies too, so depending on where he puts his Petrify, like the final blow, he's going to be pumping out damage.
And there they come, Golden Hour stopping the action, and a stolen one by Yue. The fight has broken out all the way back, and Brusco falls. Requiem by Demonkite finding Kirk, and this has split up the Super Fam. And just like that, Aurora gather back, and King Kong running away. Yue, down goes King Kong. They go for the turtle. Aurora scores the final one.
Terrific counter by Aurora. ONIC tried to salvage that by sending Severo and Super Prince in the mid, but since Edward was there, they couldn't cover. I was a little bit wary of that fight for ONIC heading into that, because Kirk was in the mid trying to clear lane. It seems like they weren't talking with each other. If Brusco and Kirk were a little bit more connected and you had the glue messing up the backline of Aurora, it wouldn't have gone that way. Since the glue was slightly out of position and out of time, ONIC just got run over by Aurora. Great golden hour as well by Yue.
Benefit of the doubt. I myself am an advocate of Kirk. Maybe he was playing man-to-man defense with Edward. Maybe that was the wrong call. Maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, because Edward's going to be hard to man-to-man defense against, you know, just because of how much he can maneuver around the fight.
Best case scenario, what do you get? You mount the Benedetta?
Yeah.
And then what?
The Benedetta takes you for a ride away from your team.
Yeah, Aurora gets to do whatever they want anyways.
Yeah.
I know ONIC were thinking about the chance of Aurora getting a big team fight win and then getting their tower pushed in mid. But at that point, with Super Prince and Severo able to get away from that, they were all right.
Oh, look at the damage being burnt down onto Severo. ONIC, just like that, suddenly struggled to play proactively against Aurora. They're up 2,000 gold. Dominkite getting this push up top, and the map suddenly turns red.
Oh, he got an easy push on that tier 2 top turret. Dominkite bringing that down, and you're thinking here for ONIC.
Oh,
Set up.
Requiem, beautiful catch. This is defensive use of the golden hour. The answer as well, stopping them from pushing forward. Light, barely alive, gets taken down by a rolled projection coming from Prince.
The Worldie came out in time as well. Super Prince, his first initial Mystic Gush was actually diminished by Yue, but the Golden Hour by Brusco to follow up after Yue's Golden Hour is what put Aurora in a better spot for ONIC to at least get a kill onto Light. River control and mid control still for ONIC heading into Lord 1. Edward will push the side lanes, while ONIC will have to manage that one up top. In terms of the gold, big lead for Dominkite compared to Severo. But Severo isn't that poor in terms of the resources. He's getting his items on the way to a Malefic Gun.
Yeah, he's got that. Not only that, but he's also got a situation where, he's got his 2 items. They're going to have to fight for this Lord here. It's at half health on this point. It looks like they're blitzing it.
Yeah, because Brusco has no golden hour. Super Fam, respond. Aurora jumping in. Dominkite with the blazing duet. And the golden hour stopping it all. And they do find the Lord. Dominkite was working hard on it. Mr. Consistent finds one down. Goes the pressure. And they get Kirk. Kirk very low. Kirk surviving, but just barely. As Aurora take everything.
Requiem knockup just in time by Aurora. And ONIC, since they picked up the Marcel and gave away the Valentina, the snapshots, the golden hours have been better for Aurora.
Yep, they've been really great. Yue as well, deciding on what ultimates to take here. He's been so good and efficient on the ultimate choice, but even just utilizing the Terrify that comes with this with the Valentina, man. I mean, there's so many ways for Aurora to go ahead and play around these team fights, and that's what's happening here. So this Lord is up. They're going to go ahead and try to push into the base, get some of these shields down, and then potentially the health of the turrets. Tier 2 in the mid will fall up to this point. Lord being worked on very quickly by Severo. He clears that out, but the mid shield will fall.
Bottom lane, Edward has Severo taking so much damage. Blasting him, Yue from range. Super Prince defensive use of the Gush, pushing back the Northern Lights. Aurora are just all over them. Bottom lane taken down. All work from Edward.
Well, this is why we were posting the possibility of a surprise Valentina pick first for ONIC. But they were willing to give the golden hour to Aurora, and they've made the most out of it. Even better because they have the utility jungler.
And now Brusco forcing out a Requiem from Dominkite. Will not stop the rest of the waves though. Golden hour will at least keep that inhibitor alive. ONIC are just keeping their heads barely above water.
Yep, flicker used as well by Dominkite, but so far Aurora in the driver's seat throughout this one for the past few minutes. You got to start to see what ONIC can do here. Can they actually utilize this Bruno pick? You saw how fast he got blasted though, and that's a problem because when you don't have that range and it's that hard to get into a fight, again, you don't have that many escapes to get away. That's why he does get the Malefic Gun. He's got a little bit more range to work with. But man, the positioning on Severo, if we talked about his mechanics, his micro skills throughout the season, this game 1 is a true test for them.
Dominkite, of course, in that last few big team fights ago, beautiful entry with a blazing duet. Has had a better time farming compared to Severo. So far, the gold per minute for Severo is just floating around 580. Dominkite is at 710 plus. It's been a much better time for this Claude in terms of getting the resources. And it wasn't just because Aurora were also getting big wins as a team. Gotta acknowledge, Dominkite beat Severo in lane for this game number 1.
Yeah, even looking at this, Flight providing so much information throughout this game. That's again why the Khalid is such a big top priority pick in the roam right now. Not only that, but even if you take a couple shots, you can just heal back up. And so they kind of just take some time, wait for this Lord coming up in a couple seconds here, taking a last look at the items. ONIC, if they want to, they can try to contest into this, but will they just get decimated through a team fight?
Likely yes. It hurts that they don't have an actual peel. Their lineup doesn't revel in, free hits from Prince, free hits from Severo. They have to get crafty with it. And Aurora, look at Edward. He's built 3 swords plus the wings.
Hey, this is why the Benedetta pick was really good. If this was a different EXP laner,
be different.
Kirk would be much happier here. But the Benedetta changes the big picture of team fights for ONIC. Again, they have a utility jungler, they have a Khalid, they have their own golden hour.
Oh, they see that King Kong's down on the bottom side. They're going to blitz this Lord. They ONIC might have just decided, you know what, let's just give it up. So that's Lord secured here for Aurora. They're better off defending in their base, it looks like. And that could just be the case here for ONIC. If they really want to get this game under control, get it back in their favor, they've got to have a miracle defense. And that can happen, honestly, with a Marcel on your side, too. That can actually happen. Marcel, Gord can clear these waves pretty well. So this might not be a game-winning Lord push just yet for Aurora, despite being up this much.
Playing the map, the pressure. I think Aurora, they can get the base balled here for ONIC, take away all the base turrets, throw bodies. Domingkite has to survive, though. Edward as well. Maybe Edward could be one of your sacrifices, but Domingkite needs to survive this push.
Yep, Lord's going to push in and take down that mid turret while they focus here on this bottom side. Oh, Edward. Oh, light.
Looking for it. The deep cut by Mr. Consistent. Golden Hour. Stopping the exit, but really not much there. Another one helping delay the gush. Going through a lot of members of Aurora, but Kirk is fallen. Light picks him off. King Kong goes for the trade. And I think Aurora are happy with a 2-lane push, but it looks like top lane and bottom lane will get taken care of too, just mid falls.
Yeah, as I was saying, part of the key to this defense is that Gord and the Marcel. We'll see if they still hold on to the turrets. It looks like Aurora
pulls the trigger, but I think they know that this is a little too fishy.
Yeah. Well, that was actually a smart play by Domingkite. I think his condition there was the moment he saw that deadly magic was used on the Valentina. That's why he decided to BMI in, because he knows he can afford to be a little bit aggressive and survive, because nothing's going to delete him instantly. He has his own way to lifesteal and spell vamp as well through the clods, the basic attacks, and blazing duets. So that was just a smart little decision and gave Aurora the space to actually get away from that.
Yep, and looking at these. The itemization here too, I think Kirk, big factor. Wait, conceal is used. Light's just pushing Brusco out, but I want to control this side of the map. Again, defensively, just needs a little bit more to be beefier. But even then, if Kirk has the items and he's like beefy enough to withstand a lot of that front-loaded damage, the problem is still keeping tabs on Edward, keeping tabs on what UA decides to do, and even Domingkite. So ONIC has so many boxes that they need to check to win ultimately a team fight that turns it around in their favor.
You know that the Northern Lights are feeling it because they're starting to hunt.
Yeah.
They're looking for these brushes and flushing out rogue members of the Super Fam, which makes sense because look, they're protecting Savero like it's the first 2 minutes again.
Yeah, they have to, man. He is the key here for them to eventually. Again, it's pretty easy for ONIC to pick off 1 or 2 members, but to entirely win a team fight, that's where the work is going to come through, and where you really need Savero to stay alive for those.
Yeah, and it's going to be easier said than done, difficult, because of the Benedetta that is packing hella damage items. I believe the first time we saw Benedetta this season was against Aurora versus ONIC in week 2.
Yeah, week 2?
Yeah, Edward did use a Benedetta then. It did not win, but it's a completely different picture. Oh, it's a blitz by Aurora.
Oh, ONIC are trying to respond. Brusco here, Golden Hour,
Early.
delaying the Lord take, stuck at about 1/10 of its health. In comes Demonkite, looking for more. Domingkite forced to use the freeze on that Winter Crab, plus the blazing duet defensively. Lord will still be secured. They take out King Kong, and now the jump, the Requiem, the clash. And Kirk falls, and they're not done. They're looking for more. Savero kicking balls, trying to stop him. Another knockup, down goes Brusco. And Savero holding on. Maybe I can, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. It's just him and Savero left for defense.
Early on the golden hour from Brusco. I think a little bit of a panic button. And then Aurora just decided to go for the jump. They saw King Kong first, found his hat. Brusco got taken down, or Kirk got taken down next, and then Brusco. Aurora looked to take game number 1.
Yep, they're going to be pushing in with this Lord. A little projectile thrown up, but it's only 2 guys of ONIC left.
And in comes the Electo final blow.
That's it.
They escort the Lord out of the base. Aurora draw first blood in San Juan Arena.
Early on, that's one doubt answered. They still have a long series to go, but Aurora looks so much better than they looked in the regular season. That was just game 1.
A very different Aurora that we're seeing here. That week and a half, that 2 weeks, whatever it was, ended up paying off, at least here in the first draft, first game. And it leaves to wonder again, you know, in this case, down from the drafting, down from the execution, as we look at the highlights throughout this game, they started fast and they ended fast. I mean, it was a pressure game themselves that they put on against the Super Fam.
I think in the long run, the glue ended up becoming a pick that hurt them more than it actually helped them. And of course, very easy as well to get AOT stacks for the Claude through the glue. Add to that, even if you get a mount, with how mobile the lineup of Aurora is, what are you trying to break? What tempo are you trying to break? There is no tempo to break. And you can't break Dominkite, who is the MVP of game number 1. He won that because of how he handled Severo in lane. He delayed the Bruno. And of course, his entry with a Blazing Duet during Lord 1 was beautiful.
I kind of get now why people doubt his clutch gene. It's because he doesn't have to carry single-handedly.
Yeah.
He played very well from early, mid to late. And again, when it matters, Dominkite is there. He was proactive. He was just everywhere.
Yeah, he played this to a T. And you gotta mind you too that just down in the lane, they put a lot of pressure on Severo to also allow Dominkite, I feel like, to have a little bit better time to farm up. Not that he usually doesn't, it's just one of those things where if Severo's being pressured and they have a composition that should be getting off pickoffs because you have a Harley, you have a Gord to work in conjunction with a Marcel, they kind of had to shift their focus to keeping Severo alive. We saw that down to the very end where they were really trying to protect Severo. Well, Dominkite, and the reason why this Claude is such a priority, especially for teams like Aurora, is you already can be confident enough that Dominkite's going to do his thing, right? This is his hero that he's able to go ahead and just kind of take autopilot and be very useful and efficient on a hero like Claude.
I think ONIC need to put a lot more weight on this Valentina pick. Again, very rare that we see teams willingly get the Marcel and still have a Valentina on the other side. I think in the long run, Aurora built around having their own golden hour much better than ONIC built around their own golden hour. There were some times where Brusco's golden hour actually hurt the Mystic Gush of Super Friends, and a lot of times denied by US own golden hour. Now, for the trades, I think ONIC put a little bit too much value on the ban on the Kalea because they can pick up Kalea themselves. They are one of the teams that have picked up Kalea as one of their first picks, and they've shined with it in this season. That's one of their highest win rate heroes.
Yeah.
So the fact that they picked the Marcel when they could have maybe found out Valentina at the blue 3, then pick up the Kalea for themselves, so there's no Tsunami Slam for Aurora. You're okay with picking up Kalea over the Marcel because we've seen she's one of the best responses to a lineup with the Marcel.
Yeah, there was, that's why I was saying, you know, the Marcel was, there was a lot of good moments from Brusco, honestly. Like that incredible save that he made up top, you know, they really utilized this Marcel the best they could, but I think there was just a great way for Aurora to execute things. And my low-key MVP for this would have been Yue, because on the Valentina, like there were so many good moments where he was actually able to go ahead and, you know, utilize his own golden hour, utilize his own Mystic Gush, utilize his own tools. But then again, like I said, the damage that comes with Valentina plus the Terrify
Expected, and they get the gourd.
That's what I thought, man.
Yeah, good closeout, good range, good balance. It's just so balanced right now for Aurora, while ONIC are just full in your face that if they don't win Turtle 2 or Turtle 3 with significant kills for the Leomord, maybe even the Phobius, Aurora can win this in the long run.
The only way ONIC can actually get to the Gord is through the Claude, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
And that's a little too dangerous.
It's expected.
It's what was left on the board.
Yeah, that's why they needed to pick up the Cho. They picked up the Valentina for safety, but you knew the Cho was coming out because of the Clint there, and even with how a Harley and Hilda would like to enter. Wave the Dragon's really good, but this puts a lot of pressure on the Roman trio of ONIC and their early to mid game. That if they don't get a considerable lead early on, Aurora win in the long run.
Yeah, this is quite the interesting draft to go through for Game 2. Some similar concepts, but just kind of flipping over onto the other side. You guys can let us know what you think, and don't forget to make sure you guys scan that QR code earlier on to get a chance to win 1,000 MLBB Diamonds. We'll have that every match throughout the playoffs here. One last glimpse at our lineups. If I had to go and say this is going to be one team or the other here, I like what ONIC brought to the table. I'm wondering if Aurora will start as quick as they did in Game 1, though.
Because of the full dive playstyle of ONIC, Aurora are banking on the fact that a well-timed flicker is better real estate than a well-timed Purify.
Yeah.
Because once those dives are committed by ONIC and they use those abilities and Aurora gets the flicker out, gap closing for the rest of ONIC is gonna be a struggle.
Okay, looking at this too, emblems pretty standard across the board. A lot of early aggression, this is what we expected. from ONIC at least, especially with that Valentina, they're actually going to go ahead and send back already Light to reset.
Look at this. Classic ONIC, the orange gambit.
Yeah.
And they know they sent Light back, so King Kong will get his num-nums. That's Grand Theft Green right there.
Yep.
And it's not going to be a double green take. He won't even take his own lizard. Skips out and helping in the clear in mid. Will go straight to his own golem. If I'm not mistaken. Nope, it's he's doing the golem orange pull that Leomords can do.
Yeah, going
Oh no.
no, he's just getting orange, it looks like.
Oh,
Mid lane.
Brusco running through two. That's just what you can do with a Cho. I like that Auror's just applying as much pressure as you can, despite them going up against the Valentina.
Yeah. So the rotation for Demon Kite was he got the gold crab up top, also got his own lizard, and he should hit 4 after taking his orange buff.
Yeah, this main thing too for Aurora to be cautious about is especially when that Brusco hits that level 4, you know, once he's on the Cho and has the kick, that's one thing. But also Super Prince, depending on what ultimate he wants to take, which will most likely be the Mystic Gush throughout the majority of this game, unless somehow you see him take something else, maybe the Avatar of the Guardian. But so far, it's one of those things where these kind of compositions, you really can't do too much till you hit some crucial level 4s across the board here.
Oh, look at this. Signature Doming winning that lane in the face of Severo's Claude. He took that gold crab like it was nothing.
Yeah, much easier for Clint to pull that off. Aurora, no, they can't full commit this too hard.
Oh, this is Gush by Yue, maximum range. In comes King Kong and the jump by Light. King Kong still secures, and they punish Edward. Nowhere to go for a Hilda deep inside the pit like that. ONIC win the first turtle trade. Now Light comes in. Kirk almost gets taken down. Oh, Light so close to going down. It's all ONIC from here.
Good coverage there by Super Prince and Brusco to really help Kirk. It would not have helped the cause of ONIC if Kirk fell there. Of course, Domikite still locked in with getting gold. As Severo left lane a little bit, Doming was able to get a few hits on the tower. He still gets the hit on the second. At this point, it would be the third crab, excuse me. But Severo does have an EXP lead. He's going to go for the double lane 3 minutes in.
Okay, so pretty safe start anyway. You know, 1 kill did go over, but nonetheless objective as well. Aurora, not too much ground that they have to cover. Because they have a Harley, they can make this happen really quickly if they're able to go ahead and focus down on a potential gank in one of these off lanes here. It's more so of who do they actually go for. Part of it is playing around the tempo of, again, Brusco, what he's been doing. He's so proactive on this Cho here, giving information over, and it just kind of leading into this. Super Prince has the Avatar of the Guardian himself. I don't know if he's going to get rid of that or not, or if he's actually going to try to just utilize it here, but we might look to see if ONIC can actually be the ones to go ahead and start something up before the next turtle comes up.
Severo finally gets a last hit on the crab between the 2 gold laners.
Oh, Brusco!
Brusco looking for that kick, finds it off angle. He does catch a deadly magic, plus the combo, the gourd! Throws out that Gosh, and the ALG closes off the exit. Now Super Prince does not save Brusco, and in comes Edward, wailing away, looking for targets. King Kong can't fight. Now there's the...
And they're gonna dive Doming Kite, and then first tower breaks up top. ONIC are looking to see if they can expedite that process.
Yeah, the biggest gap here, too, between the lanes anyway, is Kirk leading Edward slightly. Well, no, hold on. Yes, quick math. It's about the same between him and mid. Gold lane is nearly dead even, so this is more so who has the upper hand in terms of timing with the ultimates or the kits that they have here, and that's what we've seen ONIC a lot of times. Aside from that kick that was off by Brusco, that's going to happen sometimes, especially when you're trying to get that angle just right.
Yeah.
And that's where that tough work comes in for Brusco on this Cho to utilize it. Blade of Hephaestus, first item for Red, we're locked in. Genius Wand 2, pick up now for Aurora, so that's going to help UA's damage burst profile a little bit more.
Yeah, so a lot of the problems that ONIC might have in team fights when it comes to reaching the gourd, reaching the Clint, is also answered now by the fact that Super Prince keeps getting the Avatar of Guardian of the Gatat Kacha. And I think that's going to be okay. Keep that pick up. You don't need to rush for or get the Mystic Gush. You'll have enough damage in your dive. Just go all in the idea of getting in the face of Aurora to make the gourd and the Clint uncomfortable.
Yeah, you put enough pressure there where you can't even get the right line up there with the ultimate of the gourd for Yue. Oh, this pressure on Severo.
Severo answers with a blazing duet. Down in the jungle, though, they find DK, the celebrity. gets caught down by a 3-man paparazzi squad.
Oh, Yue and Edward. Okay, good projectile there by Yue. It gives space for Dominic and Light to push that tower up top. Severo not falling is good, but Super Prince has an angle to hold. 10 seconds for the next turtle.
Uh-oh.
I think it's going to be all ONIC for that one, unless Aurora catch ONIC off guard.
Dear God, off cam, the beast actually took DK's lunch money.
Yeah.
That is a purpleless Harley going into the final turtle.
We were wondering where they were going to put the pressure. They put it on the jungler of Aurora. Demon Kite goes down, now is buffless. Turtles up here, last one of the game, and ONIC has control of this. Aurora might want to just let this one go.
And there's nowhere for Edward to go. The gush, the full combo, the answer, blazing the wet, the forward push. Brucio gets punished. And there's an AOG by Light, no one home. And they force back Edward. King Kong looking to run him through, run him over, and they'll find Yue. King Kong takes him down. Dominic the damage ain't there just yet. And there will be a momentum swing.
Bang!
Super Prince takes down Light, and no one else follows. The Super Fam get on out of there.
Severo also gets to open up the map in the mid with a push there. And he did a great little job. Instead of actually committing a full Blazing Duet chase onto Yue and Aurora, he decided to back off, which pulled the attention from Light away from Aurora. He was able to survive. He got space because he knows he doesn't need to be the sweeper all the time. You're playing through a Leomord. All of the conditions that we laid down for ONIC to hit are being met perfectly by ONIC.
Yeah, you can see that with the way these items are falling into place for them too. Severo's going to go ahead and knock down this tier 1. He should be able to get it just in time. Yep, Aurora won't be able to defend that one. So opening up the map even further up to this point. ONIC has control of it, and I think even to an extent they'll continue to at least give information and put pressure on the purple buff of Demon Kite as Brusco and Kirk are both around here. But since King Kong doesn't really have to worry about this. Actually, he's going to rotate for this too. I guess they just want to fight it out, knowing that these tier 1s are down in the mid, but it will be secured by Demon Kite. Demon Kite now picks up the Malefic Gun. So the hope here is that he's had enough time to farm up to where he needs to make this Clint now shine, as he's got the range to duel with. I think your main point, though, is the problem you pointed out earlier, Renmar. It's, you know, for the most part, Super Friends taking the Avatar of the Guardian. It's so efficient on making Aurora kind of scrambled in a way on what to do. And because I mentioned this earlier in the draft too, Edward being on a Hilda, it's so honest the way that he approaches the fight. So it's not like Edward can swing around to the backside or try to cut some off or replicate that pressure against ONIC.
And that's the thing. When he does try to swing for the backside, that's all he does.
Yeah.
Because just the same, Aurora can flicker out of the way from ONIC's dive. ONIC can do the same to Edward, pick him off, and then go again.
I think Edward needs to stay with the back line so that he can power of Wildness the entry of the Claude. ONIC are going for the blitz on the Lord.
Lord now at a 10th of its health, a 12th, a 16th, and the Super Fam secure with very little resistance.
Let's go!
Light catches a lot. Look at the back line. He gets the kick on a Demon Kite, and Severo finishes the job. How did the Bruiser do that? And they find the next target, Edward. No bush nearby, forcing you to get that gush through and a flicker. ONIC are just calling all the shots.
Brusco made up for the one-off that he missed the angle. Now he finds the mark in Demon Kite. They're going to take down this tier 2 in the mid as well.
Brusco is on a hot streak. He's got educated feet, man. Like, sure, he missed one, but whatever else followed just keeps Aurora honest.
Yeah, that was a conceal from mid 2. Lord marching down bottom. ONIC looks like they could get more towers. Everything has gone well for the Super Fam, but they still cannot get greedy. You're up against a Gord and a Clint. Wave clear is actually terrific.
Yeah, the wave clear biggest thing right now for Aurora to potentially turn the game around. They still have to solve the issue of either avoiding Brusco's setup every time that flicker is going to be available, and even if he does have it,
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Deadly Magic thrown out, Lord will charge in.
That's what you call the business of wall banging. Yeah. Brusco's just backing in, backing out, forcing a response. That's why he caught the Deadly Magics. Allowed for the rest of ONIC to pop that shield.
Yeah, that was a perfect space creation by Brusco. And I liked the idea of the Cho even before he came out, because I was reminded of that absolute crazy win. Wait!
Oh! They break out a fight. Kirk here catches, what, 2-3 seconds in the combo. Now they punish Edward! Edward Balboa falls! King Kong once more. They push him back. Another Deadly Magic's caught here by the Super Fams. Cavalier. King Kong backs off.
Okay. I think they can get the tower and a few pokes on the tower in mid. They have the numbers advantage, and there's no Hilda.
Yeah, they can focus on the turret.
Brusco again, a one-man army pushing back.
Oh,
Aurora, Light, Comes through. They just want this. They call it
Wow.
the momentum, the charge, the pushback, light, take it down.
Wow! That was just great execution by King Kong to get that knockback onto light, and the follow-up by ONIC. That was gorgeous.
Yep, though they work for this turret.
Still can't get it though.
1 HP, okay, they're not going to get it down, but hey, I think ONIC is happy with that. They're still in the driver's seat throughout this game. They've controlled everything up to this point.
As the great Mr. Chow said, but did the turret die? So it's worth it.
It's worth it.
For now.
For now, it's 1 HP away. I think, then again, it's something that this lineup can do is just buy enough time to go ahead and clear these waves out. I think part of it, though, is Aurora struggling to figure out how to approach these team fights.
Yep.
Because if they do if Light jumps too forward, then who's going to peel for Domikite? If it's Edward, again, Edward can only really run in one direction, right? That's the biggest problem with this Hilda XP lane.
I feel like overthinks in the draft are very active. Though I understand the Atlas ban. Maybe I'm just a little bit biased towards the Atlas. Valentina ended up with ONIC, so the fact that Edward's on something like a Hilda, I think should have been a different pick.
Well, right now, fighting for this Lord, Aurora shows even down at 8,000 gold that they're willing to get in range for it, but maybe this is just a feint. Deadly Magic's thrown out. They should get out of here.
Lord here gets secured easy by the Super Fam. They're looking to punish Light, but Light skedaddles. AOG stolen Super Prince. He flickers back. All of that just to steal the orange away.
Let's see how many towers Aurora are gonna lose here. Is their wave clear good enough? The gourd is only up to a glowing wand.
Hold up. Even on the fadeaway, Demon Kite still got his orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, he grabbed it.
Has his core items, but right now ONIC can take a lot of that. I mean, as long as Severo isn't the guy taking it. Oh, but he has a Winter Crown also. Oh, this could be it.
Even Kirk could take like 3 seconds of the full combo.
Yeah.
We saw that just a little bit ago.
And still re-engage.
Yeah, Radiant Armor, Athena Shield is pretty much all Kirk really needed to withstand that.
Plus the top boots.
But yeah, plus tough dudes. Yeah, that's part of it too. Turret finally falls in the bottom lane. Lord is there. ONIC, do they try to punch this one in with a win? They don't have a wave pushing in. That's the unfortunate thing off this Lord. They don't really have further waves other than the mid. Can they get this though? It's going to be cleared out pretty quickly. Brusco!
Brusco coming through! Kicking Edward in, but Brusco will fall. They trade out for that
King Kong!
And King Kong finds DK. Down goes that little magical baby boy. And there's just 4 defenders left. Aurora have lost one of their cores. ONIC gonna take this slow as they take 10,000 gold up on Aurora.
That's worth it, man. In our own RGs, that's when we'd be saying, nice trade, nice trade.
Yeah, nice trade. I think they wanted to potentially take the top one too. Severo held on to the Blazing Duet. Didn't have to use it. ONIC showing discipline. They just get a base turret. Yes, they have to sacrifice Brusco for that, but worth the trade. They'll take what they want from Aurora and further in their lead at 10,000 up.
So Dominic still got a good time getting farm. He's only 1 full item behind Severo, if I'm not mistaken. Severo's about to complete his last one, which I believe will be the Malefic Gun. Well, Dominic just got the first component for his last item after getting the Sea Halberd. This could be a BOD, let's see. While the difference between the mid laners, again, as we've said a lot this season, this is how you can tell if it's comebackable or not. Once Yue gets his 4th item, unfortunately not his 3rd, then it's ONIC not ending the game quick enough, and Aurora can definitely make a comeback. But so far, he's only up to a Blood Wings, and still on the way to the 3rd item. So it's going to be a long time until Aurora can make a comeback. ONIC just, well, they shouldn't throw, to put it bluntly.
Yeah, if they end up losing this game, that's kind of what it's chalked up to. Divine Glaive's picked up, though, finally, here for the Gourd.
In juxtaposition, they should throw themselves at Aurora.
Yeah.
Now that they have a 10,000 gold lead, just ride that to victory. Blitz this Lord coming up in 10.
Yeah.
And then end there.
Yeah. If Aurora still survives this Lord, that's alarm blares ringing already.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not impossible to come back from these types of deficits if you're Aurora,
For sure.
9, 10,000 gold. We've seen it before. That can happen. This Lord is up. ONIC's going to go ahead and start it. Aurora has the information here, though.
They're still going to try to contest. They try to blitz down Light, forcing out a Revitalize from that Gatot Gacha. Lord at 1/3 of its health. There's a projectile thrown out by Yue. And it gets soft reset. Wow, ONIC are respecting Aurora.
Yeah, Demon is way too close within retry range. Brusco still has his kick, though.
No, Light's probably going to go back to reset this. He already used his regen and the revitalize, so with Light gone, they're going to delay it further.
Oh, Brusco catches the deadly magics, tries to... There's the BMI, there's the gush. Down goes Light, Super Prince takes him down. That is a man advantage for the Super Fam. And now the Lord still standing. Frozen! DK with the steal! But they punish Yue. They run through the rest of Aurora.
Bang!
As Dominkite falls. 3 for the Lord.
ONIC needed to clean up house. Demon Cat and Edward are the only ones left. Lord spawns in 10 seconds while minion waves are crashing for ONIC.
Far from unfavorable. ONIC still go for it. The Lord will spawn in 10, but they will end right here, right now. The Super Fam are on the board, 1 for 1.
Lord Gambit, Aurora matched it, but ONIC met it perfectly. 1 for 1 after cleaning house.
And that one was a dominant one for ONIC throughout the game 2. There was a little bit of a chance if they could have just held on a little longer, but that dance, that's the new evolved dance, the Lord Pit that we see, where they whittled down Light, the front liner there for Aurora. Even with Demon Kite getting in range to get the Lord, they just didn't have the firepower, the economy, the itemization to win the team fight.
ONIC, I feel like they triggered that team fight knowing that Aurora would respond just like that. Because with the position of where Savero came from, with the Winter Crown Blazing Duet, that looked like a team that wasn't surprised. That looked like a team that was ready. It's like, guys, we just have to win it here. Even if they get the Lord, we can run them down. And they did run them down.
Just let them.
Yeah.
Is the equivalent of throwing bodies.
Yeah.
They just wanted to throw bodies when they were sure, and when they saw that Demon Kite overextended for the Lord, then all the more they were sure. What's crazier is Demon Kite actually lived.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that he was the one to live. King Kong will get the MVP here. Great performance on the Leomore. There's a reason why they went ahead and picked it, locked it in. This is the classic answer, though. When we see the Harley prioritize the blue side, you see Leomore picked up right away.
And 100% kill participation shows just how locked in right now. Super Friends, King Kong, and Brusco was, especially in their last game. They get the Cho and Valentine. Kind of criminal, they got away with it. But I think Aurora, again, looking at the Atlas and Khalid, if they banned out the Valentina, the Atlas could have been picked by ONIC by Red 4 if ever it was the Atlas they let through. And yes, the Atlas also would have served problems for Aurora. It's just that Aurora weren't able to find those early trades to keep the gap close. They couldn't be competitive for Lord 1 and Lord 2. And that's how, you know, ONIC can just run away with it. And it was up to them not to completely botch this game.
Yeah, if they would have lost this one, it would have been a tough loss, and then they would have been facing what? Match point? Yeah. This is great that they were able to equalize the series though here, because now, you know, when you come into this and you go into game 3, it's like, all right, maybe it's more so of this drafting chess game that we see so often between these teams in the MPL Philippines. And, you know, even when you have a solid combo of heroes, specifically the Harley and the Gord, for example, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have free reign. ONIC answered that so well by putting pressure back on Aurora just the way that Aurora did to them in game 1.
Dominkite didn't even get to play. I'll tell you now, this Clint did not reach even half of its potential. He wanted so much more to do. It's just when it came time, there was no one to peel for him.
Yeah. The Hilda pick, I feel like, was a bit of an overthink also. Just because they saw the Claude, I was like, oh, let's go ahead and pick Hilda. I know that they were playing on the idea of flex. Yeah. But even if you put that in the roam, it would have been the same problem with the EXP side. You're up against a Phobius. You still wouldn't have enough peel. It's a little bit too offensive-minded. I think in the end, after everything I've said about ONIC and dogging on them in the draft in game number 1, the recovery in this draft for game number 2 was excellent.
Again, they actually pinned down on what we talked about. Yeah. The Valentina Marcel trade, and they played the offensive side of that coin. Heads or tails, whichever you take it. The fact that, hey, Light's not gonna Marcel. Yeah. Let's just secure that Valentina.
Just secure it. And And again, I think, you know, maybe I'm wondering where the idea came through, if it was in the second phase for Aurora, because I really thought that it would be a Rome Hilda. Like, I really thought that was the case, and, you know, I know even in global MLBB, we think, oh, okay, that could still be flexed. I like how they're trading things out, and they're just being like, yep, now this time I'm going to get the control here. Yeah. They hand that over to Aurora.
They play more of this for control. This banks a lot of pressure onto Demon Kite to get Piercer and string kills together, because you don't have an instant burst. You have strong displays. Oh, it's their turn to pick up the Belleric.
Oh, man, I feel like I'm watching MCT Station with this, man. The Zetian, the last pick for ONIC. This is such an interesting draft from ONIC, especially the last two, Belleric and the Zetian.
Okay, so the Belleric ult helps supplement pretty much the entire lineup of ONIC. The Zetian and Belleric ults are difficult to actually make work for the layer of stuns, which an Alice into a Belleric now should temper a little bit of what ONIC can do, that they have to be careful to fight under Alice's passive. But even so, there's still no sure burst. There's going to be a lot of long team fights and displacements because there's a Cho on the other side.
And possibly a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the question is now, are ONIC prepared for this? Because rotation-wise, the Belleric will fall significantly behind compared to the Cho. The faster rotator on ONIC is actually their Baksha.
Yeah, maybe they're going to play into that. Maybe part of this, too, is you can't somehow, some way utilize the Belleric on this dangerous grass map in certain situations when they're fighting around objectives. That could be part of the play. Could be setting up the Paquito here for Kirk. I think there's more question marks on ONIC's draft for Game 3 to see if the execution is going to be there. You guys can let us know what you think. We're going to be jumping into Game 3 in this best of 5. Once again, ONIC, after a decisive Game 2, when Aurora took Game 1, what will be the equalizer here moving forward?
I like this. You were pulling a page off of Moreno's book in MPL ID by packing a sprint on this juice in. Okay.
Why that? Why the sprint?
You are so much more annoying to grab, and you can grab the others much better because you're just so mobile once you pack it. It's Crimson Beacon, then you pack the sprint. You're going to be difficult to catch, and you're going to be annoying to deal with.
Ooh. Look at all this pressure on Dom and Kite down bottom. This is how you can tell that ONIC are making up for their lack of rotational speed.
Yeah.
By making their movement more meaningful. Light picks off Savero just like that.
It backfired.
Well, rotate as much as you want. You can't just counter sheer mechanical brilliance by
there. That's why there's so much of this focus. And again, a Belleric can only do so much. Brusco doesn't have his phone flicker, so ONIC playing on the back foot right now, at least leading into that first turtle here in about 15. Aurora has control of things so far.
The last time we actually saw Belleric be a big player was when Aurora flunked out of the group stage of M6, the Swiss stage, and when ONIC eventually won. Yeah. That's when it would stop Chosen Joys.
Yeah, that literally just Wrath of the Dryad being that thing, you know, to go ahead and slow them down, stop them. It's one of the great things, again, you can play with around objectives. They're going to be the ones to start the turtle up, but quickly goes back in control of Aurora. Let's see if ONIC really can convert this or not. They're going to be dragged for it.
Oh, Fury the Phoenix, allowing them to find a re-engage. Light pushed back out. Edward looking for it. Does glimmer through, takes down Kirk, serves up the turtle and Demon Kite. DK finds King Kong, stringing kills. Down goes the big tree. 3 for none plus the turtle. The light is blinding. Girls need blinders. ONIC is left to where the sidelines is.
Really awkward team fighting there by ONIC. Why are they full committing this early on?
That's my question.
The Allison Juicing alone, you know, are going to be a problem for you. There's a 2.5k gold lead. It's 4-0.
Massive swing.
Yeah, it's a Paquito into an Alice. You don't need to full fight that. Your initial rotation was already messed up. Brusco already suffered 1 death. You don't have Wrath of Dry. Why?
Yeah, that's why I asked. Like, is this the first turtle you want to fight for? But then Aurora takes everything from them and builds themselves this kind of lead. I mean, we haven't seen this strong of a lead in a while throughout these games, even at the end of the regular season for this. So this is a great start to go ahead and play into when you have this kind of composition. Oh man.
Another pop on the passive. Demon Kite with the charge sever there. Close call.
Yeah, Brusco can't hold the bushes because there's a huge risk of him just getting lifted. The combos of Kirk, Edward doesn't give a damn about it, he's an Alice.
It is miserable for Prince now, dude. 3.5 minutes in, and he's popped both flickers and passives.
Yeah.
For nothing.
Dominkite is beating Severo in lane.
Oh!
Oh, entry though.
King Kong jumps on the Dominkite. Dominkite
Uh-oh.
does survive.
Ah.
Light is back up too.
Yeah.
Man-to-man blocking Brusco.
Okay, Brusco, he's at level 4 now. Maybe this will change things for the next turtle, but I'd almost like to see them maybe even let that one go, man. They're losing everywhere across the map. Unless this ends up being a different case where, you know, Kirk can potentially help out with this Paquito here. Looking at the gold, look at the difference even in the gold lane, man. 800 gold between the gold laners right now. Severo, that early death really slowed him down here. Oh, mid.
Nice combo. Laying that through, and they find Yue. The kick here, displacing Brusco. And now Edward comes in with a massive Throne of Ruin. Demonkite looking to take down Prince. Prince falls. Double for DK. Making a triple as he pops the rocks on King Kong. And Kirk barely survives. Another 3 for Aurora.
You saw the desperation there by ONIC, especially Kirk. They knew they had to get that Suyo, but that will be the Sky Piercer holder for the team. And they are just allowing Aurora to take their early conditions.
I don't get it. They go in for this. Yes, it's a pickoff. But then with Aurora and the lead that they have, they just come in and slam down towards ONIC. And they got control of this. Not only that, Sky Piercer picked up. Yes, he had 3 kills already, but gets a stack off that triple kill for Demonkite. And now he's just in full momentum on the Suyo.
Because of the lack of control of the center, Severo has had a difficult game.
Crimson Beacon forced on a Brusco here. No follow through. It was all in an effort to actually get this push in by Dominkite.
ONIC overcooked in this draft.
Yeah. A little bit too much, man.
Yeah, a little bit too much.
Maybe just the Paquito, a different roam, or vice versa.
But more than that, I appreciate how Aurora are punishing that, how do you say, exotic approach to the draft. Which is, say what you will, they have no burst, yes?
Yeah.
And they win the macro, yes, but they're so willing to fight. So early on, they get 3 stacks on DK. Like, that's, I think, the difference maker.
And the reason why Aurora's Belleric worked against AP Brand in the final series of the season was because Aurora were patient with it. AP Brand then were playing a full dive comp, and they just needed Light to get 1 big Wrath of Dryad in the team fight to ruin AP Brand. They didn't respect the Wrath of Dryad to mess them up, and then Aurora ended up winning. While ONIC are just go initiation when it works out better for you in this kind of setup if you wait. If you're just a little bit more reactive.
Whoop. Light here. Could have gone for the kick, but they said not just yet. King Kong does pop the puissance. He was ready for it.
Yeah, he was ready. Make an attempt there. Last turtle's going to be up just a second. ONIC is down 5,000 gold. You look at the itemization. Dominkite will take down a tier 1 up top. And this is, I mean, there's 1 item on XP, 1 on gold. Starlium Scythe there for Severo. You're just not in fighting form, so they gotta give this turtle up.
Yeah.
It looks like they're gonna go that course of action and just try to get prepped up for the First Lord. But the way that things have been going and the way that Aurora has been executing that, even the First Lord is gonna be tough to deal with.
Yeah, I have to give a lot of respect here for Dominkite. During the regular season, Severo had his number in the laning phase, but now he's beating Severo. He beat Severo in game number 1 in lane, now in game number 3. Just a huge point of improvement for Dominkite. And of course, Aurora and the entire team. Not a lot of people expected that he'd put up a fight like this, but they're also punishing ONIC's crazy ideas.
Has Yue even had to use sprint yet? Like, I feel like
I haven't even used it, yeah.
I was gonna say I haven't even seen it because he
need to.
doesn't really need to catch anyone. It's ONIC choosing to be in range of his Jushin here.
Joseph, that's how short-ranged ONIC's draft is.
Yeah.
That he's just like, no, I'm just gonna kite you guys away. I don't feel any threat here.
Yeah. It definitely feels that way. Taking again a glimpse at the items here. Look at the difference between the jungle, man. That's just how good of a game Demonkite has right now. 3,000 above King Kong and the Baksha. This is, you know, kind of scary to deal with because even when you're the Baksha, you're playing this utility. You're down, what, 4 levels up to this point, 3,000 gold. It's really hard to even contest into that Lord take. Even though you're supposed to be the tanky one here, even this Paquito really hasn't been able to do anything just because of there's no entry point for Kirk to deal with here. So they're desperately trying to hold on to this side of the jungle, but Aurora takes whatever they want at this point as a tier 2 up top will fall. Dominicite knocking down the turret. King Kong?
King Kong! Deep behind enemy lines! That Throne of Ruin will stop him. I think that was just a little bit overkill as he gets picked off easy.
Overcooked with this one. Too slow. Didn't respect the Alice. Dominicite is messing up Kirk.
AOT plus the BMI back. Nice push down bottom by Savero. But that seemingly feels like a consolation prize for everything that Aurora's taking now.
Yeah, it really looks like we're going into Aurora, going into match point with a 2-1 lead. Once that Dominance Ice comes out for that Alice, good luck trying to take it down, even with just a Radiant Armor and an Oracle. Edward's already way too difficult. They don't have the right damage profile. Burst base, perplexing to me as why you would want to play a Paquito with Uranus and Alice still open. It would be greedy. Were they thinking about Claude? Were they thinking about Masuyo? Still, you have to look at the big picture of it all. It seems like a lot of Onyx Overcooked picks are looking into very specific things without looking at the big picture of drafts.
Yeah, this is one of those situations again where you are almost thinking that this can end on this first push just because of the nature of the composition that ONIC brought. Yes, there's still the shields. They could still work around that. In one way or another, I guess the Wrath of the Dryad ultimate from Brusco could stop Aurora in its tracks, but even if you stop them, you might just die.
Joseph, you can also open a coconut with a plastic spoon.
That's true.
But do you want to do that?
You know, if I was thirsty enough, maybe. Maybe ONIC is in that position where they're thirsty enough, man.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah, it's going to take a while here.
As it is, they're 10 down. There's a Lord Mark.
Oh, Kirk. Oh!
They can't even clear that fast. They pick off the Paquito. They pop the Holy Shield in mid. And there's another chubby wave up top.
That is exactly how it feels right now watching this one for Game 3. Aurora could potentially just go ahead and get to the point where they are ending the game as quick as possible through this as ONIC desperately tries to hold on to their base turrets.
They will pop the shield. And there's a wave in mid. Oh, Light can just put the shoe on the other foot. Now Brusco knows what it's like to have the wall banged on you.
Light has a flicker as well. He can make a play.
And there is
Brusco.
the combo coming through.
Whoa!
Wrath of the Dryad keeps Light down, but Dominicite does take out Brusco. Dominicite will get taken down here. Oh, it's deep in the fold. Edward 2. The punish 3 for 3. Yua gets found out, but he does back off. 4 for 3 now. Savero might be able to defend.
There's still minion waves coming in. He still has towers to work with. 10 seconds until Brusco gets back. 10!
Oh, Dominicite is ruining turrets. Top lane cracks. Mid lane goes. There's a duo of minions here as the Yue tries to hit him with the Crimson Beacon. Zaman forced through. Dominicite firing off. Here comes the rest of the Super Fam. It is over till it's over. Dominicite here with a blade.
Oh!
The shutdown by Brusco.
ONIC holds on despite it all off of a Wrath of Dryad from Brusco.
Followed up by the Fury of the Phoenix. A Zaman Force, a triple kill from Vero. And ONIC might just make a comeback here. Still, it was expensive, but they were able to chip away at that greatly. A perfect combination with the Belleric and the Zetyan together. But because of the resource lead of Aurora, ONIC had to lose way too much. Still, they held on and they keep going for it.
And they find Edward. There's the Zaman Force. Finally, Edward cracks, and they force Light back. ONIC are an awakened beast.
It's ONIC time.
It's ONIC time.
The lead in half.
That was a fumble by Aurora, man. Fighting into the turret, even with that lead, you still got to respect the Wrath of the Dryad. That's what I was saying. Under the turret. That's what they did. So now it's ONIC with this Lord. Again, Aurora still ahead of 5,000 gold.
Yeah.
They can still secure this Lord here. ONIC has been able to pull it off so far.
Lights low.
Can they continue it? Now you see the respect here on both sides for the positioning favor around the Lord.
They have to go faster. They have to go faster. Minion wave scratch.
Lord here on 8th of itself. There's a Zaman Force. Crimson Beacon by Yue. Going back.
Oh!
Block. Demon Kite. Savero does get shut down here. Demon Kite does get a kill on Brusco. And ONIC are backing off the Super Fam retreat. Turning tail. Happy with the Lord take. But here's 5 members of Aurora. They want to go. Fury the Phoenix. Down goes King Kong. Kirk clearing the waves. Lord spawns in 15 seconds.
It's miraculous that ONIC were able to secure the Lord for themselves. It has to spawn here. Aurora might be able to end it.
Oh, they're going to push in with this wave. Kirk and Super
Inside with the flicker and the kick and the combo, serving up a kill to DK. And the Lord does come through. Brusco spawns. Savero in 2, but the base is in jeopardy. The Northern Lights are at match point.
ONIC needed to take desperate measures, but it's a simple thing in the Philippines. Minion wave, far lane. Aurora made the most out of it. Aurora chased ONIC down, and they are 1 win away from advancing to the second round.
That looked spicy towards the end. You got to give it to ONIC for trying, despite being down that massive deficit. Tried to turn it around, but Aurora held on and held strong. And I think at the very end there, I finally saw UA pop the sprint to make sure that King Kong didn't get away. And there you go, match point now for the current world champions to get closer to the grand final. That's the goal here. They've scrapped through this one. Again, they control the majority of this, and what a start for Demon Kite, what a start for them. You're noticing the hard focus on putting pressure in the early game, and that's what's happening here.
I find it hard to pinpoint who the MVP is, but I think this is a award-winning performance by the celebrity.
Yeah.
I think he's got to be DK.
It's got to be, man.
ISKDA much more patient. And it was an easy down for him because he just needed to capitalize on ONIC's questionable aggression.
There
it is the celebrity getting it.
Oh, yeah. This is the Demon Kite. I don't know. There was something about the what do you say? The grimace he had, or the smile that he had.
Yeah.
Before the series, I know.
It's a smiling demon again, dude.
Smiling demon again.
The damn smile.
We did not see that smile
For weeks.
for weeks, man. 9-1-5, by the way, on the Suyo, and even run that marksman emblem. Man, he made this work. He got stacks early on, and you know the idea, by the way, between the Belric ultimate, the Wrath of Dryad with the Fury of the Phoenix. In theory, it's quite deadly, but if you fall behind and you just don't have the economy there, that's where it falls apart.
Which is why ONIC knows their combo. What are you doing full fighting turtle number 1 when you don't have that combo yet?
Yeah.
And the Belric already died early. Even Savero got taken out early. So what the heck are you doing full fighting that? A lot of the moves here in the draft and even in game from ONIC felt like there was just a lot of ego.
Yeah.
A lot of maybe overshooting and overestimating their own capabilities or what they have. But for Aurora, they really just stuck close to their guns. Their discipline of like, okay, we can just hold out here, sure, we keep going aggro. We have an Alice. We're happy with that. Your Belric doesn't have level 4 yet. Thank you. Why fight? But you see it here that despite this massive lead, ONIC were able to chip at it. And this was one of the few times in this game where Aurora got a little bit undisciplined. This is where I was thinking ONIC should have gone faster. The moment they saw Light get brought low, with the minion wave up top and with there being a clear push angle there, they should have just rushed the Lord. Even if they didn't get it, they'd be able to get away. What did they do? They hesitated, which allowed the minion wave to crash even closer to the lane, and Aurora just to use their battle spells to chase down the members of ONIC.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where I feel like that's the way you can sum it up, Redmar, like you mentioned. You know, I think they just cooked a little bit too hard with this idea, this concept behind the draft for ONIC. And, you know, yes, you could see it in theory work throughout the game, but that's the thing. You fall behind the way they did. And again, maybe it would have been different if it didn't start off by, you know, such early pressure and an early first blood for Aurora, because they were already at, what, 2.5K lead at just around, like, the 3-minute mark. Like, that's massive to go ahead and deal with, and then you're scaling really, really well in this kind of lineup that Aurora brought to the table. So, I don't know. I just feel like, in a sense, too, maybe if it would have been different for Kirk, the Paquito still kind of a big question mark. Savero was honed in on. So, it's like, where do you start to focus for ONIC going into the next game, facing this match point elimination from the playoffs?
You know what? Now that we're talking about it, it feels like it's a double whammy for ONIC here. They overcooked, they overshot, and they lost track of who they were from the regular season. Again, the play style.
And then at the same time, Aurora most likely picks up a Lapu or a Clint to go ahead and highlight on what they already got the first draft phase. But also the Valentina is just so strong here for Aurora right now, because it is also making ONIC consider do we just overload the options of ultimates, or do we really want to pick certain ones? Terizla is also a great ultimate to take. We've seen this before where a penalty zone from a Valentina sometimes is more effective.
This is a stroke of genius, though, because ONIC knows that Aurora wants that Terizla.
Yeah.
They steal it, and they know that Aurora's not going to rush for either a Selena nor, rather, a Farsa nor an Eve, as mentioned by Wolf also, because they already have the Valentina. Unless there's no way that serves the XP.
I mean, they can still back up the Uranus, as we mentioned, but I like the idea of the Lapu-Lapu. Might be a little bit more viable considering the Selena and the Valir were banned out. There's the mid pick for ONIC. Yeah, they need that burst and they need a little bit more range, but I'd want to see a lot of things on the ground. I'd want to see them consider a Lilia. Edward brings back a Benedetta, and they get up a Moskov despite there being a Marcel on the other side. This is just a confidence pick right now by Aurora. Not always the easiest time to make a Moskov work when you're up against a Marcel, but yeah, they're feeling it.
Oh, and Louis Yi. So this is a Super Friends pick. He's made it work before. Now he's going to bring it to this in a game that is so crucial right now for them to extend the series.
Maybe only the second most prolific low Yi user in MPL Philippines. Second to the Lone Stallion Sanji. This is going to be interesting. Yeah. I like how ONIC are capable of, just folding the map in half and again, using the world's longest BMI.
Yeah, I also like that. I sort of got my wish of seeing a lot of things on the ground. Of course, with the interaction of the low Yi abilities, you need something with a capability of zoning, crowd control, and damage, which is what is delivered by the kit of the low Yi anyway when she wants to damage. While at the same time, as you mentioned, they realized that they can't go all in with team fights. They needed to find a way to play the map, and they got it with the low Yi. Honestly, the low Yi pick just answered a lot of things of what ONIC needed. Instead of them leaning towards one way a little too strong, they were able to balance it out.
Well, here we go. Match point for this battle, the international rivalry, the last one of Season 17. Only one of these teams can move on forward, and right now it's ONIC, the super fam, that wants to extend the series to a Game 5. We're on flying clouds, and we're jumping on in.
Put yourself together for you, still a Festival of Blood. For Edward, Inspire for Friends, even got Tenacity. All right. Pretty standard on the emblem sets. So far, a lot of pokes coming in from Yue towards Brusco, who just wants to protect the orange side of ONIC. Gonna get invaded by Edward and Demon Kite. Now, 4 members of Aurora.
Uh-oh. It's their turn to pull their own version of the orange gambit. Now Brusco running through, freezing them all. Perk does oblige, force the flicker through that wall the long way around. Yeah. I think Aurora wins that engagement.
Yeah, King Kong needs to compensate by getting Litho and one of the green camps here because he got his own Lizard. So the math usually is Lizard plus 1 green camp, plus your 2 buffs should bring you very close to orange. While for Demon Kite, still they weren't able to, ONIC were still actually able to hold on to the Golem. They compensated instead by getting the Beetle up top.
Oh, that was really close. They were going to see if they could get an attempt on Brusco. They don't. A little bit of trading across the map, though, in terms of the jungle, but also I think one thing you have to worry about if you're Aurora facing against this this combination of having the golden hour there, which could essentially set things up for Louis on Super Friends to really get the interactions off, and then utilizing a diversion too. There's a lot of kind of weird things this composition from ONIC can do. Taken and granted too that you're on a flying cloud map and you can get back to the fight time and time again if you need to. They just don't want to fall too far behind like they did previously. And they have plenty of tools to play around with. I think that's one of the highlights here for ONIC's lineup, as now the first turtle is up. Some of these level 4s still coming into play. Edward has his. The select the final blow, and even the Phantom Seed for UA could play a part. Diversion used up on the top side for Super Friends.
ONIC have fully relocated. That is a 4-man coalition light. Force a response out of Super Friends. There's the real Leo Mord calling in his ult, and the penalty zone. Savano coming in, blazing the wet, but Brusca survives. Not so fast as Yue, taking him down.
Edward.
King Kong finds a trade. Down goes Edward. King Kong will go down as Yue dashes through the wall, uses the flicker, and gets a trade. 2 for 1 for Aurora.
US saved that for Aurora. And again, another pick you have to watch out for. If there's a Leomord on the other side, expect the Valentina to be one of the answers because of just how well Valentina shines with getting the Phantom Steed for cleanup, for aggression, for setup. It's a perfect toolkit for a Valentina.
Yeah, we see a little fight for the gold crab there. Severo's going to grab that one, but that's true. You know, a lot of times when you see the Valentina picked up across a Leomord, It's so deadly with its own Phantom Steed, and you can play around that, and that's what we see here now as they get re-situated here. Even though the first objective went over to ONIC, it's pretty much equilibrium across the board up to this point.
I think ONIC need to... By the way, great rotation by Severo to get the Blazing Duet in. But the difference maker really was the fact that there was a Leomord cosplay for the side of Aurora. Still, could be anyone's game. I'm not seeing a lot of errors, not seeing a lot of pinpoints or pain points right now in terms of how things are getting executed. Whoa!
There's a duel, Blazing Duet. An SOD by Dominkite as well. I'll call that a technical knockout. I think Severo really pulled the trigger, knowing well that he can send Dominkite home. Oh.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get the gold grab, and Prince got the diversion to bring King Kong closer to mid. I think they were thinking that there were rotation-wise members of Aurora towards that side, or maybe Yue would overstep. But that's going to be rolling up level 4 for Brusco, level 4 for Light. Edward's first item is locked in with a Heptaseas, while the glowing wand comes in for Yue.
Yeah, Dominkite. Okay, just a little visit up here. He's not going to be able to catch Edward, but Dominkite not doing too bad. Yes, he is down just a few hundred gold against Severo, but Severo on the cloud, he is going to be able to do this, and he's going to double lane and handle things, everything else. Now this turtle spawns, second one in the game up top.
I think Dominkite is handling lane really well because he knows Severo is probably going to look to join in this fight if he gets the fast clear.
Okay, Yue takes the Phantom Steed again. Fight for it.
And there's it is, calling in by King Kong. Penalty zone coming through, look at the damage. Dropped in, SOD, will they press the button? Dominkite still not pressing it, down goes Kurt. Man down for ONIC. And just like that, Aurora have the advantage. ONIC will not force the issue.
Good initiation, but with the Terizla down, ONIC will have to give this up. They know it. The SOD also landed right in time. Aurora get turtle, number 2. No dire straits, but that was just a perfect entry by Edward. ONIC were not ready for the Electro Final Blow Petrified combo to come from that angle.
That had to be the very last second that he could follow through that SOD. Whoa, Edward gets a flicker.
Out of Super Prince. Will he get punished? That's the question.
Oh.
And it seems like, yes, he just too deep. King Kong takes out Edward.
Bot time because Severo's now getting pressured in bot.
Severo, another Blazing Duet. Pushing Dominkite back. Does he know that Demon Kite and Light are here? BMI back. Here comes the backup. Super Prince and
Doming.
Brusco coming through. Defensive views of the SOD. The flicker back. Close call.
Yeah. Really good for Light to be there. Just good response on both sides. That was really a back and forth between both teams, but they keep their gold laners alive.
Yeah, they know it's a really tense situation. Very fast to pull the trigger. And trying to find an angle for either of these two because Aurora team fights so far slightly better.
Yep.
They always have 1 or 2 options remaining after ONIC have blown out the majority of their abilities. While for ONIC, they can play the map a bit more maybe, but it's tough with Moskov on the other side.
Oh, Light. Okay. He's going to get out of there. He's got to be a little more cautious. He doesn't have a flicker available. There's 4 members of ONIC down here on this bottom side. They want to take this tier 1 out. Brusco will stall out Light from going back to the base. They want the turret. They get it. They'll take a diversion back to the mid lane.
Oh! Thrown out by Kurt. There's the electric blow, plus the petrify by Edward. Severo with the Blazing Duet. SOD catches it.
Oh no,
King Kong calls in. MLBB. Demon Kite gets taken down. Kirk eventually still repairs the situation.
If that was me, if I'm Kirk, I'm just going all part of the plan, boys. No one saw that.
Anyways.
But we got the win. We got the win.
Yep. They made it happen. Again, both the teams are doing a really good job at mirroring each other across the map to be there when they need to. But now it's 1-for-1 for the Turtles on both sides. This third Turtle in control of ONIC right now. Not sure if Aurora is going to contest it. They just give it up because Demon Kite just spawned, so he'll go ahead and grab his purple instead as they get ready to prep for this Lord here. So majority of these fights too, it's been the 4 guys across from each other. Now we'll start to see the gold laners come into play a little bit more here. I'm wondering where things are falling into place item-wise. Golden Staff now for Severo. He's got to be close to the... Oh yeah, that was his second item, right?
Yeah, still kind of far.
Still kind of far. Oh, Demon Kite.
And the Golden Hour stops Demon Kite. Where are you going? Brusco puts a stack on that freeze on him. In comes King Kong running through. Charges through. Blazing Duet gets back. Though, as Severo does still hold on.
Wow.
Oh, they're happy with the pushback.
Yeah, safe by Kite Brother. Diversion just to quickly reposition instead of walking.
Good little peel there coming out from the team. Again, that's been the nature of this game already, the game 4. Aurora trying to peel for Demon Kite if he has to, and you know, again, playing for Domain Kite on this Moskov, we've seen a couple close team fights, and a big play of that with this kind of composition is, again, these gold laners. DHS just picked up, so both have the 2 items locked in as they build into the third here. Severo has been pretty good at just being where he needs to be in Blazing Duet and relying on, if he's got to rely on the Louis for Super Prince to get out and out, he can. They can use it later on, like we've seen before when the Lord is up, and you can get that longest BMI positioning in favor of you utilizing the Louis. So this is all a great macro possibility for ONIC. Whoa, mid lane?
Oh, they try to collapse on the light, but he's just too elusive. Close call.
Kirk. Now sending Domain Kite back. Oh, Kirk's in trouble.
And Demon Kite finds the Bakshi Knight on him. In comes Brusco. Golden Hour. The kick just right outside. In comes the rest of ONIC. The Super Fam thinking, should we? Shall we?
They can turn.
We will. In they go. Blazing Duet plus penalty zone. Severo right in Domain Kite's face as Kirk just survives, but barely. King Kong once more. King Kong running through Brusco. Very low. Duel will not force the issue. That's a 1-for-none take, plus a turret.
Yep.
ONIC are just pushing forward the tempo.
Perfect tempo, and this is why this low Yi pick is so good for ONIC. They needed to be able to cover the map and cover the ground so much faster, while also have some great tools mid-team fight.
Oh, this Lord is up. ONIC's going to go ahead and try to blitz it as fast as they can. It's already less than half health here. Is Aurora going to do anything or just give it up?
I think they just should. ONIC are just playing hard to get, baiting them in. That's a Lord secured for the Super Fam.
There you go.
Well done, ONIC. Well done, Kirk, also with that turn with the penalty zone and the flicker.
He survived.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Aurora expected that, and they saw that coming, but they still found themselves in an awkward spot where 3 of them were close enough to get penalty zoned anyway. So
yeah,
I think a bit of a misposition there by Aurora, also trying to handle that whole situation.
Yeah, it was so good too, timing with the Blazing Duet from Severo. Yeah. If only, you know, they were able to capitalize it on a little bit more, but I think they were happy with what they got. They're slowly chipping down these turrets.
It was for a turret.
Yep, yeah. Opening up the map. He's now got his Trinity locked in for Severo.
Wave clear is tough for Aurora. They have to commit a lot of big ticket abilities just to clear the minion waves well.
Not to mention the range issue, which can be punished again by a mad combo between the DPZ and the Blazing Duet. Quick rotation down bottom. ONIC are just in Aurora's heads, like, where are we going to pop up next?
Yeah, that's one of the things you kind of forget about the strengths of having a Louis in your favor. Lord will charge up into this bottom base turret. It'll swing with the cloud there. I don't know if Light's going to try to do anything off this. They just want to clear out the Lord and these waves, as mid-tier 2 will fall as well here. As ONIC continues to build up on this lead. Oh, SOD thrown out. You don't want to follow through with that, but they're trying to defend onto this.
King Kong with the Phantom Steed.
Oh, Edward.
To disincentivize any more aggression, and Edward gets taken down. Light looking for something, but Super Prince violence, serving up the kill, and they rotate. Diversion up top, Super Prince stays. He was going to go home, though, as Aurora still reeling from the pain of that rotation down bottom, cannot defend this top lane push.
The ideal was there, the timing just wasn't.
Yeah, not yet endable though. But ONIC have played this brilliantly. I think that was a little bit desperate. I think they were trying to force out the BMI early from Severo. But then Severo just stood his ground. He's like, I'm going to basic attack. I don't care. I have the Purify anyway. Yeah. And he knows that he has enough lifesteal, enough vamp to survive the initial hits that he'll get either from the Moscow or the Benedetta. And since he didn't commit that BMI, it forced Aurora to awkwardly force an attempt on him and the rest of ONIC.
That's what the last 2 big team fights have been. It's like this awkward fight for Aurora.
Yeah.
That it's just not going to favor them here. Got a flicker available for Kirk. Yeah. If he decides to try to push into the base, but they'll most likely just wait for the Lord. It's up here in less than 10. Then they get ready to cap out the game to bring it to game 5.
This is Marcel with the Guardian helmet and the photo flask of the Oasis. So a lot of utility. He's going to be difficult to take down.
Oh,
good seal
used.
We'll scout him out. Going hunting. Spots Light in that Y brush. Flushes him out.
Yeah. One thing that the ONIC has to be careful of is you already has a Divine Glaive.
Okay. Let's see. He doesn't have an ult stolen. Demon Kite gets blasted down.
SOD.
There's King Kong. Popping it. Gets kicked by Light, but Light goes down. Lord still standing. Blazing Duet by Severo as King Kong secured. And they take it out on Demon Kite. 2 kills plus the Lord. All super fam.
Very clean. They know they have a massive resource lead. And ONIC are just executing these fights really well. See? Keep it low to the ground. Don't overcook. And you're doing really well.
UA's holding on to his own penalty zone. They got to hold on for the rest of the team to come up for Aurora as Lord makes its way up top. The last base turret does fall, though. And now ONIC is just waiting for the potential to end this game. But at least for Aurora, they'll have a full team up for this defense.
But a full team going up against ONIC with 10 bands up, almost 10 bands up. They will try to take down Kirk. Kirk still holding on to that penalty zone. Oh, here comes the big fat Lord wave. And in comes the flicker and the blazing duet to answer. Severo does take down Light. Double kill for him. Edward falls. And Demon Knight will try, but it will be all for naught as ONIC has their eyes on the base. We're going all the way as ONIC go 2-2.
The toughest region, the home of champions. Day 1, match 1, season 17 playoffs will max out.
Hey, I'm glad we're maxing out here on this kind of match between world champions in their own right. And it all comes down to one game. This has been sort of a back and forth from each game throughout the series. But this time, ONIC didn't overcook, man. They brought a lineup that maybe you weren't entirely thinking that would happen. The Louis was a classic pick for Super Prince when they need it. And it happened here.
This was a medium rare with mashed peas and corn on the side and maybe some gravy. That's it.
There's no meat.
What? Just said medium rare.
Oh, medium rare. Wait. Oh yeah, medium rare steak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Were you thinking he said medium rare corn?
Yeah, that was medium rare.
What
corn.
is medium rare corn?
You know, when it's still like a little bit, you know what I'm saying. I'll go into more. Brusco getting the MVP. Yep. So what part of the food plate was Brusco?
Oh, he was the food blogger influencer taking the photo.
Taking the photo
Of the well-made dish.
And he had a photo, by the way, right? Flask Anyways is there. 0, 2, and 10 on the Marcel.
100% kill participation. The 2 MVPs for ONIC in this series have had 100% KP, which is why this really is a battle of who gets a much better picks, less cooking around the center of the map. The Loyi was just perfect, and it's actually turns out a really great combo with the Marcel as well. Because if ever the Marcel and the Loyi are caught together, Loyi generates shields for herself. Marcel could potentially give shields to Loyi as well, meaning it's a difficult combo to go up against. We're reminded yet again, yes, there's this awkward relationship with Cho that there are some Chos that are so good that traditionally Marcel should beat it, but it doesn't. But this is a stark reminder of why Marcels usually do really well against Cho this season.
Yeah, this is just nature in order. Mechanically speaking, the Cho just really struggles against the Marcel, which now brings us to an interesting fork in the road.
Yeah.
A branching pathway, if you will. Now that we've kept it close down to the ground, both teams drafting excellently.
Yep.
Playing, to the best of their abilities. It was, pretty close up until the 6-minute mark.
Yeah.
Where does this leave the whole Marcel question? Does Aurora ban the Marcel? Because I think it's clear. I don't think I'm blowing smoke up anyone's behind.
Yeah.
Light doesn't like the Marcel. Aurora just doesn't play Marcel.
Yeah.
So do they ban it? That opens up a whole slew of picks for ONIC.
It might be worth the... I don't know. It might be
They
worth
can't beat it with the Valentina.
Yeah. It might be worth one of those moments where you just go for that ban on the Marcel in Game 5.
Or was it the Cho into the Marcel?
I think
that broke the
It might have been more so that.
I think that Cho into the Marcel to me was kind of awkward, bro.
Because the Cho came up in
Red, blue 3. After you saw Claude and Leomord, and you could have picked up the Marcel, but instead you picked up the Cho.
But again, this is Aurora we're talking about.
Yeah, not really a Marcel team, which maybe that's where, as you mentioned, ONIC are looking to pinpoint on. But again, the closeout of the Turizla, really good. The Loyi was just a perfect pick. They were stuck with either a Moskov or a Clint, but Moskov struggles against the Marcel.
Not a single combo with the Gourd. It's literally just, I have good crowd control and I have good range.
Yep.
Aurora's the one who picks up the Granger.
Okay, that could that, I don't know, maybe that was the wrong choice for ONIC, but this could be one of the cases where they just want to play into comfort.
You know what? The series opened with Yue playing Valentina. He had one of the Valentina performances of all time earlier the regular season. Light on the Marcel, maybe we gotta give him a second chance.
Now the thing about the lineup of ONIC is, if you look at their pieces, reaching Dom and Kite will have to mean King Kong Shield Unity or Kirk Flicker Darkwave. For Aurora, it's so much coverage to be able to access the carry. Again, that's going to be backing Flicker here, not Purify. No Purifies. But the difference is that there's a Revitalize for Brusco. The team, if we're talking about team fights, ONIC theoretically should be a little bit better. But in terms of the speed, Aurora have that.
Well, here we go. Which team is it going to be? It's down to this. We've crawled our way through the series to 5 games. And now it's either going to be ONIC Philippines to move forward or Aurora Gaming Philippines. They brought their best for this draft, and it all starts here.
It's going to be the attack speed spell vamp for the carry. Oh, this is going to be determined by the team fights and the little skirmishes in the middle. The river, the turtles.
This is old school ONIC. With that orange gambit, they successfully take it away from Demon Kite.
Even looking at this, man, Demon Kite on the Fredrin. I know we talked about him playing the Baksha before.
Whoa. Fritz here gets saved by Brusco, and in comes King Kong forcing a flicker out of Light.
Wow, really good rotation.
Yeah. The good thing is Light forced his flicker out. Brusco didn't even need to use his Revitalize. So you take an aggressive trade like that because you're trading out battle spells. Brusco, good discipline to not use it. He didn't panic.
Yeah, I'm wondering how this matchup is going to go in the gold lane, just because both gold laners, you know, sometimes I wish we could have just a dedicated camera for them, and we know how spicy it can get in the gold lane between Kite and Severo, but him being on the carry here for Severo, this is what we were left wondering. How would this play out in team fights? Good little stun. Jumping forward from Demon Kite with the energy eruption. Turtle's going to be up. They have control of this side of the map right now. We'll see what ONIC does. Brusco goes for the reset. He's held on to the Revitalize, and now Kirk's going to go ahead and rotate forward this. Super Frint's not level 4 yet. Meanwhile, Yue has got his own Mystic Gush, so that's an advantage that Rora can play with for this first Turtle.
Prince is so delayed. Turtle now at less than half health. Massive Gush from Yue. And there is a Appraiser's Wrath putting down the members of ONIC, but they still hold their ground. King Kong with a Poisat, but Demon Kite yeets that turtle from underneath them.
King Kong didn't even use his Retribution, and he was in range. Quick, a simple take there despite the rotation by Severo.
The question is why? Brusco here, barely alive. Why would King Kong hesitate?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was an easy turtle take for them, secured with how that fight played out, but that doesn't happen, and now look, they're going to put pressure on this side of the jungle of King Kong. He's got to wait for the team to respond with him, but man, talk about a delay towards ONIC. And a big part of that, again, was Super Prince wasn't level 4.
Yeah, ONIC also knows that they need to take all the advantages that they could get early on. There's no other reason why they would call Severo to join in for a very, very early 5 versus 4. He's slightly gapped right now, so he has to hold this minion wage and freeze so he can farm just a little bit better, while Doming Kite is going for his Doming double in the center. ONIC might really regret that moment, but they still have 2 turtles to work through. If they can get at least one while keeping it close and not give any stacks.
Oh, Gush on the Light. Dash is back. In comes King Kong. Slightly off sync. ONIC, very M5-like, running into a brush with blind vision. King Kong knows better.
Yeah, good response there. Good recovery. Could have gotten way worse for either side. Good amount of pressure coming through, though, too. Meanwhile, in this XP lane, it's pretty much a stalemate between Edward and Kirk.
Whoa!
Done.
Yue is not surviving this. Super Prince gets first blood.
Perfect layering there. ONIC need to take those moments, while Yue and Light have to do as much as they can to reduce that happening. Clear miscommunication and lack of connection there from Aurora. Despite the great start that they've had to this game with the first turtle win that they were able to secure. Slight lead here for the Fredrin over the Baksha in terms of gold. EXP-wise, though, also a slight lead for Demon Kite.
Yep, Severo doing a good job there, freezing a lane. He's got control over it. This turtle's coming up here now, though, too. So ONIC off of that, grabbing the first blood just under the 4-minute mark. This turtle is up. He grabs a glowing wand. So first item locked in for Super Prince. Grosso side for Severo. There's a projectile stun on Edward. But he's going to be fine. Bravest fighter, but they're just going to go for it.
Glorious Pathway dropped in by Brusco. Puissance by King Kong holding that front line. Light looking for someone in the back. Severo wails away with those light wheels. And here's their own stolen Glorious Pathway. Turtle still up, and Demon Kite takes it again. No retry again from King Kong?
Yeah, well, how? Why is he not using his retry? Was he just slightly out of the range of the turtle, it seems like? But that was just a nice little pull by Aurora.
Yeah, he might, maybe he's, I don't know if he's out of range or not, but that's twice now in a row. So Aurora, they look to take down this tier 1 turret. There's a response from ONIC. They're just trying to hold it on. They will, but they're going to fight.
And there's a bait. King Kong still alive. Brusco with that Glorious Pathway. Demon Kite in jeopardy. Demon Kite falls. The pressure finds him. Now Yue is going to be up next. Light wheels short as Yue flickers back.
Bait play. They needed to get a win because of the 2 objective wins that Aurora has gotten. There is so much pressure right now on the pressure on Severo and of course on Domin Kite, as well. He rushed the Piercer. They know there's so much value in the Sky Piercer, which is why I was considering ONIC would want to take it for themselves. So it's a ticking time bomb. Will Aurora activate alongside Domin getting his stack, or will ONIC be able to stop that? He even rushed the Malefic Roar. He excluded the Hunter Strike altogether.
Yeah, a bit of a rush there. Oh, whoa, again, a big pickoff for Super Prince against Yue. He's landing the combos.
I think ONIC are baiting Aurora into a false sense of security.
Yeah, and they know they need to pressure this Valentina because it brings so much value in team fights, damage, and everything that she can pack with whatever ultimate that she decides to steal. Side lane minion waves need to be handled by ONIC, so they send Severo down bot. They still don't have any push on the tower. This is what's going to hurt ONIC for their next takes for Turtle 3 and Lord 1. Their lack of map control, and Aurora hell-bent on protecting all of their first-tier towers.
Yeah, they want to hold this one down bot. Severo continuing to farm up here. He's just slightly behind right now, Domin Kite. Aurora might be in a position where they're just waiting for Domin Kite to get these stacks that he needs on the Granger, providing the space to work with. They've gotten 2 of the turtles. We'll see if ONIC wants to use the Retribution to secure this one for the 3rd and last turtle of the game.
Well, Light running through 2. Super Prince and King Kong compromised. Brusco trying to exit that small brush. In comes King Kong, holding that roll.
Many pokes.
Twice now, King Kong has not been able to Retribution inside the pit.
Yeah.
Let's see if the 3rd one's a charm. Brusco dropping that Glorious Pathway. Edward cutting right through the formation. Down goes Brusco. A stack for Domin Kite. Gosh on gosh action as Yue gets frozen. And DK scores again. Kirk in no man's land. Flickers back. Might get another stack over.
Body block.
Demon Kite will finish it. Serving up a kill to Yue. King Kong dashes on out. Puissance to survive. Severo won't even get the push in the bottom lane.
The golden hour was perfect from Light. Defensively, the gush ended up getting blocked, and it protected the US. Severo and ONIC decided to leave the turtle in mid, and they tried to go for the tower and bot, but it was covered really well because of the river flow, and Aurora have the lead in the mid game. ONIC are running out of time. It's a ticking time bomb. The Sky Piercer stacks on this Granger.
They'll start to build up here off of that swing. It was a good attempt for ONIC to try to make something happen around that turtle, but if that was a depiction or a preview of what could happen for the Lord, that's not the type of fight or the positioning that they want to replicate. Now Domin Kite picks up a Hunter Strike. He's going to pick up a turret here. Tier 1's going to fall as well as Aurora continues to open up the map further. And now for ONIC, they're scrambling. Severo will take a tier 1 up top himself to get something, but look at this pressure on tier 2. Aurora is just going to full send it, taking down another turret on the bottom side of the map.
ONIC are just finding ways to balance. They won't be able to take the 2nd tower up top.
Concealed by Light, forcing a flicker out of Super Prince. Brusco defensive views of the Glorious Pathway. This is not good Aurora smell blood in the water. They know that ONIC are scrambling.
Now, all the turtles go into Aurora. The 2 retributions, King Kong weren't able to use. The save by Light on that golden hour. Looks really bad for ONIC, but Aurora, imagine how it feels. You're so close. You have the lead.
Yeah.
You've had the toughest season a world champion has ever gotten after winning the world championship. You barely made it into the playoffs. And now here you are, 1 win away, maybe just 4 to 5 minutes away from defeating 3rd place ONIC, a rarity in the history of MPL PH.
Well, right now they got control of the Lord here as it's about half health as ONIC is going to get flushed out.
Gush from Prince, flushed out of that position by Edward.
They lose
and
this.
the Lord gets easily taken by the Northern Lights.
Oh man, that is exactly why Aurora chose this composition. And Demon Kite, talk about a hero for comfort. He's played this Fredrin so much that he's just full confident around the objectives and the team can help him secure it that way. So now ONIC defaults to let's just defend, let's use this composition we have to clear out this first Lord and to hold on to what we have.
Defending not going to be the easiest for ONIC because they have to eat an entire salvo of Rhapsodies coming out of that Granger. They have their gourd.
Oh, they hit the Gush on the Light and the stun, the golden hour. They do stop and play. Super Prince still waiting. Kirk still can engage with the Dark Infernal Pursuit, and King Kong falls. Just like that, the back line, Mr. Consistent, drop, serving up a kill. Good doming Kite, but they trade 2 for 2. He falls alongside Light.
That tempers it a little bit. It could have been a massive loss for ONIC. They will still lose towers. The tower at bot was able to be charged by the Lord, but Severo stays alive. Aurora still have a lead, but you see how difficult and awkward it is for ONIC to take these engagements. The golden hour stops a lot of the Mystic Gush. I think so far, a lot of the better Mystic Gushes have been coming out of Yue.
Yeah. Aside from the picks that Super Prince has been able to get, those kills that he set up in the earlier portion and mid portion of the game, right now the team fight Gushes that are coming through from Yue, especially playing around the golden hour, is proving to be a obstacle that ONIC has to overcome here. Taking a look at the items, you can see also Severo has been able to relatively come online on this carry. He is a big source of the damage after Super Prince gets the Gush out. The problem is King Kong needs a little more defensiveness to withstand that front line. Him and Kirk both so crucial here in providing the space that's needed for ONIC's line to work.
Yeah, with how awkward it is for ONIC, seems like majority of the wins that they're going to be getting or potential comebacks are going to be in those base sieges after Aurora gets the Lord. Still, they've opened up the map somewhat, but still, it is 6 towers broken by Aurora to ONIC's 2. They even haven't been able to get the tower in mid, which is why it's tough to see a scenario where ONIC are going to win a team fight outside of the base siege.
Yeah, this is one of those situations again where, you know, Lord's coming up here in about 30 seconds. ONIC was completely flushed out of that side of the jungle. Can they do things differently? Have they gotten themselves to a position where they can't easily get pushed out to contend for that Lord? It's crucial they're able to make that happen. A Maleficent Gun for Severo, now a little more extra range for this carry. Could be a difference maker on this last item pickup, but also the threat that is Super Prince. He's got a little extra movement speed now. Still has a glowing wand. He's working on his 3rd item. But the Lord is up now. ONIC wants to get in position. King Kong's got to come through. Maybe a drive-by with a retribution, or they spot something out. Light already giving the information over. Brusco, half health already, just off of a couple shots. King Kong waiting in position, but Aurora, they'll take their time with this one.
So they see Super Prince down bottom. They know that he threw out a projectile. Light is just hiding. This is devious.
This is
That's
signature Light play. It's the Light Bush.
Yep, Light's bush.
The Light angle.
The Light angle. He's waiting for this. He's providing the potential to just swoop on in. A quarter of the health of the Lord.
At an 8 out of 10.
Whoa.
Find Edward. They blast him. Puissance off of King Kong. DK with a secure. Lord post take. Nothing from ONIC as Aurora just dealt the splits.
The momentary stuns coming out of the Platinum Snap was just perfect from Light, despite Edward being brought low. If ONIC full committed that, it would have been worse. But Aurora will now be able to push the siege. Again, this is where we will see if ONIC can make a comeback or not. Through this defense, the only way that they can. They're zoned out in every objective fight. Kite on this Granger. If he remains unchecked, ONIC are going home.
Good defensive item here picked up for King Kong. Gets the Guardian Helm. He's going to need it alongside Kirk, who's only got the 2 items locked in, the War Axe and the Anti-Cuirass. They're going to have to deal with this push coming through in the best way possible without going down. If they can get a pick, utilizing Super Prince, that's even better. But the best case scenario for them is just to stay in the base and defend as they want to go ahead, stay alive in the playoffs here. This crucial base defense is so important as the Lord pushes in to the bottom turret, knocking it down. They still maintain mid and top. Can ONIC withstand the push here as they clear out the Lord?
Permanent damage to ONIC structures. Constantly bleeding is that long lane. And in comes Aurora. They're looking to collapse. Golden Hour stopping the damage from the turret. The gush from Yue. They take down Edward. Savero's damage is real. And here they come. The guy with an Appraiser Draft. He gets taken down too. Savero double kill. The pressure is online.
Severo is playing out of his mind. He's doing everything he can to not get eliminated in the first round of his first ever MPL PH playoffs. But Kite still proving to be elusive. The trades that ONIC keep finding are just frontliners. Well, there's always going to be at least one more frontliner left to supplement Yue and Kite.
Oh man, that was a base defense that ONIC needed. Mind you, being down almost 8,000 gold. This is more so, again, playing to their strengths, and right now with this composition, the strength is on the defense. It allows Severo to go ahead and continue to do what he's been doing. Yes, he's most likely got to wait to have this flicker back up, but they've got some time to go ahead and control this. A Divine Glaive from Super Prince. You've seen the amount of damage that he's able to do initially, and then Severo comes swooping in to capitalize on the kills. They got to clear out the bottom wave.
King Kong uses Retribution to steal the purple buff away from Kite as Super Prince got ONIC side of the map's purple buff. So it's a purple buff-less Fredrin. He is going to be able to secure his orange though, unless they already gave that to Kite. Getting very close to the point where the items barely matter anymore. Fully locked in are the 2 gold laners. Both have rose gold meteors instead of immortalities. We might be seeing some crazy buy and sells during team fights. And I think it might be warranted for one of the frontliners for either team to commit a Winter Crown just to force resources out, survive through that, and then go ahead and fight. But the thing is, the economy is so tight right now, especially for ONIC.
Well, let's see this one. Lord up once again, 3rd one of the game. Aurora has had total control of objective space throughout the past ones. What does ONIC want to do here?
ONIC has no map. They have to pull a gambit of a lifetime.
Lord here at 1/3 of its health, held on by Aurora. This is a dance for the ages. Light flushes out Brusco. Brusco holding on to that brush, as well as the Glorious Pathway. Lord here at the 16th of its health. King Kong for the first time might actually get in range. And here comes their own Glorious Pathway. Edward steals it. How did that happen? Savannah does my life back line.
Turn around.
And he's wailing away onto Edward. And now he finds Edward.
Kirk.
Super Prince gets the kill. Kirk's still alive. Oh, Praiser grabs with the flicker, the re-engage. Post is where ONIC lives as they take 3 for free.
Oh my God! ONIC still get bodies, but Edward miraculously got the last hit on the Lord after both junglers used their retributions. The map still looks terrible for ONIC, but they will march through mid. How are they gonna handle this?
Oh, Kite is looking to escort the Lord. ONIC will run through mid. Yue with a stolen Glorious Pathway to slow down the waves.
Light's gonna be up. They can defend.
They can't afford to pressure the mid
Kite.
much.
Kite,
massive rage. Gush the answer. Kite RGM triggered. Oh, just like that. ONIC have to go back on the defense.
Well, man, talk about close. Talk about a clenched fist on both sides, breaking out into a fight. Edward, yes, somehow securing that Lord. We have to take a look at the replay on this one. Again, so close here. Edward's right by that Lord. Both junglers using the Retribution.
It's the second swing of his Raging Slash.
Yeah.
The Retribution both fell, but it was the second swing from the ultimate of the Lapu-Lapu that actually secured it. But the commitment of ONIC to chase for this, crazy, and the right call. Aurora also couldn't have handled that any better. We thought the ticking time bomb was the Skypiercer stacks, but Dominicite, with how long this game got on and how ONIC were able to minimize their kills, they can barely get stacks on it. So it's a kid named Clayton who flew many kilometers from home to replace a man that we call the gold standard in ONIC Philippines, who is stepping up to the plate in his first season as the first import for the Philippines. This is a legacy-defining game for Severo.
Again, if you ever wondered the effect of an import in the MPL Philippines, you're seeing it right here. Now, can they end it by turning this game completely over as they've done throughout the minutes up to this point? Getting rid of about 8,000 gold that was built up by Aurora and has essentially led them to an even Lord take.
This is the smallest gold lead Aurora has had this entire game, save for maybe the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So ONIC now, I guess this is the best time in Game 5 to say it's ONIC time. This Lord coming up next, as long as they take care of that long lane, is contestable. And no longer is it just a coin flip.
Yeah.
I think ONIC have a solid response to it, a solid engage, since all of their battle spells are off cooldown too.
That gourd is up to a Divine Glaive, has the magic. The Lightning Truncheon and the Blood Wings is the difference maker. Kirk and how he's going to handle these fights. There's been a lot of damage coming toward Light, Edward, and Demon Kite's way every time they show themselves in the front. But Aurora still have the map, despite everything we've said. Aurora still has minion priority, map priority. It might be too tough of a task for ONIC.
It's come down to this. Micronix versus Macrora. Can Aurora use the map to their advantage? There's a wave inside, it'll constantly bleed. Force out ONIC to respond. They're sending Prince to it. And Aurora are doing what the Philippines has been doing for the better past of the half decade, the dance.
This is a throwback to the dance between these two heroes, the Fredrin and the Baksha. ONIC has clawed themselves back up to actually be able to contest against this Lord, and it's the evolved one that they're going to have to fight against. Lord,
Whoa!
Light again.
Did they see him? They saw him.
Light Bush.
Prince looking for his teammates. Light running through.
Oh!
And the gush! The golden hour is still standing. Lord gets reset. And they get a lot of damage on him. Super Prince takes him out. The Puissance and the Glorious Pathway.
Severo.
Yue gets jumped on by Kark. Yu is down. Demon Kite 2. And Edward is going to be up next on the docket.
Oh!
Kark takes him down. ONIC are gonna wipe out Aurora. King Kong finds Doming. Doming Kite gets his immortality pop.
Bang!
It's just a matter of time. The Super Fam have proven that imports can play in MPL PH as they eliminate Aurora Gaming.
The reigning champions of the world, tested third seed, proved doubters, but in the end, it's ONIC, it's the Super Fam, it's Clayton, the first import, it's them who move forward in 5.
We had a hot take before the match between these two World Championship teams. So far, the best performance has been an Indonesian, and he made it happen here in Game 5 against the defending World Champions.
GG, well played to Aurora Gaming Philippines. It's been a tough season, but there's a saying that goes, tough times don't last, tough men do, and we expect to see more from Aurora in Season 18.
But in Season 17, it's the Super Fam who continues their run. They will face the Falcons. What a series for these two. What a moment for Severo. What a moment for King Kong, who had to step up that he did. The pressure on the 4 members of ONIC who stayed to help and lead this young man. The first import to succeed, and they did it. This is ONIC's time. But in just a moment, we will hear from Aurora, who will take their final bow of the season.
Oh man, this was a series to open up the playoffs here of Season 17. What a way for it to go. 5 games back and forth. Just phenomenal here. But first, we got to share a moment over on stage with Aurora Gaming Philippines.
MPL super fans, right here with us is a team who showed so much dedication throughout Season 17. This is a team that poured their hearts up to the last game of the season. Champions Arena, for the last time this season, please dedicate a warm round of applause to Aurora Gaming Philippines. You know, Odin, hindi lang Aurora ang pumapalakpak.
You know, Aurora,
nila, pati yung ONIC,
it wasn't just Aurora fans that are clapping for them. It's even the ONIC fans, the super fans, the dedication that they've had.
Master the basics hanggang dulo.
All the way to the end.
How
Coach
proud
Master
of
the
you
basics.
for your team.
How proud of you of your team
Hanggang dulo eh.
from what you've seen
Binigay
up
niyo pa rin
here
ng
to this
puso.
point, to this end.
Sobrang proud ako kasi kahit
He's really
hindi
proud
talaga maganda yung naging regular season namin.
because even what they went
maganda
through
yung, players,
the regular season,
nabigay namin
and they gave everything that they had.
Thank
They
you so
gave
much,
their all
Coach.
here for the
We
playoffs.
appreciate all your efforts as well as your whole team. And with me is Edward. Edward, nakasama ka namin sa napakaraming seasons.
Edward, you've been with us
MPL
for so many seasons with the
You're
MPL
still
Philippines.
here
You're still
sa
here
lahat ng championships,
through
sa
all your
lahat ng
championships,
laro na
through all your
pinagdaanan
games
mo.
that you've always been
You're
through.
staying with the whole community, hindi lang sa Aurora, kundi
You're
pati
staying
na
with the
rin
whole
sa
community,
lahat
not just
ng
Aurora.
pinagdaanan mo. What do you want to say to all your supporters?
What do you want to say with all your supporters, Edward?
Ayun. Sobrang thank you sa sumuporta sa amin.
I'm so thankful for all the support for us, all the way to the end,
Nabigo namin kayo.
all the way to this point.
Demon Kai, do you want to say something?
Maraming salamat sa mga sumusuporta sa Aurora.
Thank you to everyone who really supported all of us in Aurora.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Aurora Gaming. We see you, we feel you, we've seen all your efforts throughout season 17. And with that, you may now take your final bow. Thank you so much, Aurora Gaming Philippines. Again, if anything, Odin, they just showed na puso tayo hanggang dulo. Unfortunately, their journey ends for season 17, but it's not the end for Aurora Gaming Philippines. And now, it's time for the match winner of International Rivalry. Super Family, make some noise for ONIC Philippines! Congratulations, Super Family!
Oh my God.
What a match, Denise!
Ang laki ng ngiti ng buong ONIC Philippines, lalo na dito si King
ONIC Philippines. What a smile across your face.
Uunahin na kita. I give out the mic to
King
you.
Kong, I'm gonna start with you.
King Kong, nako, nakita ko kanina na parang medyo hirap kang ngumiti, pero ngayon,
I saw earlier that it was a bit hard to smile, but now
yung nawala sa'yo. Ganong kalaking tinik ba yung nawala sa'yo after this match?
Nakahinga na ulit kami kasi may,
We can-
may second life.
we're happy again because we have a second life in the playoffs.
Second life, and now I wanna ask, nakakahabol pa kayo? Marami pa kayong may papakita. What
You
exactly
guys showed so much.
nabangan sa inyo?
Pwede, secret lang po muna. Marinig po kasi ng Falcons kalaban namin.
There's a secret. We have to hold on to our secret because we have to play against Falcons.
King Kong.
I wanna ask Kirk naman. Also, Kirk,
I'd like to ask Kirk.
I'm pretty sure umabot tayo ng 5 games dito and it has really tested the whole team and props talaga no sa pinakita rin ng Aurora. Pero nung
Props to what Aurora showed us, but
pinakita
Kirk,
nyo para sa ONIC Philippines. If anything no, sobrang battle to ng identity. Anong identity yung pinakita nyo today?
what identity did you guys show of ONIC?
Brusto, M6 daw.
We showed our M6 form.
Hey. Ngayon naman, gusto kong tanungin si Super Friends. Super Friends!
Now I'd like to talk to Super Friends. Super Friends.
Sa huling dalawang games nyo against Aurora Gaming, na-pick mo yung dalawa mong signature heroes. That's Louie.
You picked your
and,
signature
that's
heroes,
Gord.
Louie and
Napakaganda
Gord.
na pinakita mo doon. And alam natin na kahit pa 6th seed yung Aurora coming into the playoffs.
And we know even though Aurora 16 in the playoffs,
Dahil sila ay currently world champions.
they are a threat because they're the current world champions. What was your mindset coming into the matchup against Aurora?
Complacent against them.
To not be complacent against them.
Naging mindset namin papasok dito sa match na to, parang i-treat pa rin namin sila na
We came to this matchup
champs kahit na nasa
and we treated them as world champs.
may detail
World class.
Talagang pinaghandaan nyo ng Super Friends And ano naman yung nararamdaman nyo na kanina tigi-tigisa kayo ng points. At pagdating ng Game 5, it's the last
Well, I got to
shot
the Game
that
5.
you can take against them. What
This is the
was
last one you could
going
take.
through your mind, or ano ba yung
What was going through your mind at that point?
Siguro nung nag-game 5 parang ano eh. Nag-ano na lang kami eh. All in na lang kami sa
We were all in for Game 5
game kasi do or die tsaka...
because it was a do or die for us, so we had to win.
Last question for you, Super Friends.
Last question for you, Super
Biggest
Prince.
takeaway mo dito sa match nyo.
What's your biggest takeaway against your match against Aurora Gaming?
Coach, tulong.
Coach, help me, please.
Ano daw siya? Ano ba ang
Coach Hayes, please help.
ng buong team?
Di ba po nagpa-process sa akin na ano eh.
I haven't processed yet
Na naka-advance kami. Pero...
that we advanced to the playoffs, but
Hindi pa enough yung na-practice namin.
it's not enough of what we practice, so we have more to work on.
In-game tsaka outside the game.
There's more things we need to work on.
Yan bukas sa laro muli.
And they'll be playing against
Philippines.
Team Falcons
Once
tomorrow.
again, give it up for your match winner, ONIC Philippines. You may now take your walk of victory. Odin, with what coach said, I can't wait for their matchup tomorrow. Absolutely. Alam natin na meron pa silang ibubuga sa kanilang mga susunod na laro. For the meantime, alamin natin, what are the thought of our casters? Casters, palag na to.
There we go. Thank you so much. First off, GGWP to Aurora Gaming Philippines. You guys had a fantastic run through the season. At the end there, trying to get back in form. Unfortunately, we know how competitive it is here in the MPL Philippines, and so come back stronger, and hopefully, again, we get to see them improve. Now, congratulations to the second lives now that ONIC Philippines has moving forward. And this guy right here, man, MVP, Severo, 6-0-5. We questioned if this was the right pick, the carry in the draft, and it ended up being the pick to get the MVP.
Because of how demanding this was for Severo, he needed to play the perfect game. He was juggling items around like crazy there in the end, and this carry needed to survive. Let's put a different idea on what could have been. If Aurora still considered their Marcel pick, and then ONIC instead of the carry picked up a Granger in high loss, theoretically if Aurora went carry, it would have been easier for ONIC because they have their own Gord combo, Gord Granger, their Gush, they have the Phobius. Much easier to deal with the carry there. But the problem is now in reality, looking at Dominic and looking at how he played this game, it just reached that stopgap of how come I can't kill anyone anymore? I need my Piercer stacks. Aurora needed to end this game quick. If ONIC stretched this out, they would have won. If Severo stayed alive and unkillable, they would have won, and that's exactly what happened. Look at this crazy moment here where Severo was just pounced on by 2 or 3 members of Aurora, and it was just King Kong and Brusco helping him out, protecting him, making sure he survived, because they know it all banks on this carry to be able to carry ONIC to victory.
You know what? I think it's this unorthodox choice that actually led to Aurora playing out of their element in the later parts of this game. And it might just be the fact that, yeah, Severo grew up in a different environment, played different kinds of heroes, fought different kinds of teams that make him such a lethal gold laner in MPL PH.
Yeah, definitely so. Not just down to his unique hero pool that he brought out, but even to make something like the carry work in this type of composition. Mind you, too, part of that was just the way that they adjusted. I mean, think about how much they had to gain back in this game because it was Aurora knocking on their doors early on. You know,
10 Gs, Joseph. Almost 10 Gs they had to crawl through.
Almost 10 Gs, man. And it's interesting, too, to see the fact that Super Prince being 5-0-9 on the board, how much insight we got back in the regular season where Coach was saying that, yes, Super Prince played a whole lot of Gord in their scrims, in their matches leading up to this. And you could see it, and it ends up working really well. Because this is not the typical synergy we see with the Harley. He ended up making it work so well to the point where he was getting early kills for ONIC to keep things somewhat controlled, getting out of control for Aurora.
Yeah, and Super Prince is the second element of the whole picture. It just wasn't all Severo. Super Prince landed a bunch of Mystic Projectiles and Gushes that actually helped ONIC in the long run. He too was deathless and played a perfect game. And ONIC being able to minimize the wins Roro were able to get, despite there at one point being, if I'm not mistaken, 20 stacks on the Pierce